Yo, 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 we're in the building. Wiggy, I see you, man. I see you. I was trying to get all the videos moved over. Now I'm just pulling this up on the side here, making sure that we actually are live and everybody can hear me. It goes both ways sometimes. I've had where I've hit live and then the shit never even actually went live at all. And sometimes my audio's not right. Usually when the audio's not right, it's on me. Let's check the internet connection too. Do. Bounce, move quickly. All right, yeah. It looks good to me. It looks like something we could ride out with. So we're in the building, Sit in Politics. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. We're going to be having a nice little show here tonight. We're going to be talking about the right-wing Who's the CIA show-off. We have Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens, Milo. Looks good, big baby. Yeah, what's up to you, Kenny Powders? Nice to see you pop up on the screen. And Tucker Carlson. So if you didn't know by the thumbnail, obviously we got to get into that. It's been crazy. They've both thrown shots back and forth. So we're going to get into it. Where's the validity? Who has truth on their side? Definitely update me if the internet's looking crazy, because as usual, it's trying to fake me out here. The program I'm using saying that the connection's unstable. So let me know if I'm stable or not. I feel stable. When I checked it over there, it was looking stable, but you never know. And then also Trump turned in DC, doing a little turning into some training grounds for what it's going to look like when we roll this program out to the entire country. Obviously, is it the most obvious path to complete authoritarian takeover than we've ever seen in our life? Are we more sensitive to it? Are we getting more information? I mean, I don't know, but I mean, to me, it seems like it is the most obvious fucking kind of takeover that you could have ever imagined. I would have always thought it would be like more subtle. Happen maybe slower, and some of the steps along the path would be a little bit more covert, but no, pretty much everything's been like, hey, yeah, we're coming to take this shit over. We're going to take over DC, which, you know, I've read quite a bit on this leading up to it just to prepare for the show, as far as like whether or not there's precedence there, and it seems that there is, but the problem being is that he's already even proclaiming that, you know, he wants to roll this kind of program out into Chicago, Los Angeles, New York. So obviously you see how that would be problematic, turning this into some kind of like nationwide crackdown based off of, I don't know, even then with, as far as like, if you set up the charitable kind of framing, which is what I'm doing here, you still would have to look at it and say, how what's the justification? Even if there's precedent for taking these kind of steps in the future. Oh, smooth recoil. Shout out to you. Hey, glad you went ahead and popped in here tonight, man. So about to start streaming. Shout out to you, man. Glad you're streaming. Glad you found time to hop in here because you were about to stream yourself. It's been a long time, brother. Been a long time since we had you in the live. So definitely appreciate you stopping by. If you're a person that's into Call of Duty or into streaming, my man Smooth Recoil, he's one of the best out there, and he's more consistent with it for sure. Recently, I've seen him go live a few times this week. So if you've been missing him, make sure if you already follow him and you've just been missing them, double back around and check out the COD channel. I'm wondering if you're going to do Battlefield, Smooth Recoil. Let the people know if you're going to buy that when it comes out. I think it comes out in like October or something. But the trailer looks too serious. The justification is foment, unrest to justify it. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And I mean, the thing is, but previous to this, I got to read into the Big Balls story that supposedly was the initial, like the inciting act that they're writing into. I didn't check out the Battlefield beta. I was jealous of people that did, though. I saw it on the PlayStation. I don't have Steam and all that, but they did have the beta on PlayStation as well. I think you had to buy it or something, but Smooth, you got to lock in on that Battlefield for sure. The people are going to want to see that. Battlefield's lapping Call of Duty right now, making Call of Duty look crazy. Serious. I put on Twitter the other day, so I mean, but it's the truth. It's just like, I feel like Battlefield, not every game really shifts the landscape of first-person shooters or anything like that. But about like every 10 years, they'll drop one that just fucking flips the shit on its head and has some really novel kind of concepts that they implement. Like, what was it? It was like Battlefield 4. Wiggy, you might know. It was the one where you could, like, the buildings were destructible And I remember them pushing that. And then you already know me. I'm not a first person shooter player really at all. The story's got to be on point for me. So like Call of Duty, no, I don't even play I don't play Call of Duty like that. And whew, excuse me. Not to say I haven't played Call of Duty, goddammit. So if you're out there thinking I haven't, I have, and you know, I can handle myself on the sticks. Don't get it twisted. You don't want the problems with me, but I'm not a consistent player of Call of Duty, and not every year or anything like that. I think that started in Bad Company 1 or 2, the destruction. Okay, yeah. I remember playing Bad Company specifically. So possible that does ring some bells, but yeah, Battlefield comes in and they just show like what the fuck is even going on with Call of Duty, and why haven't they taken the gameplay to the next level, and why haven't they like developed whatever their system really is past like we have these 10 games that you play, which at least in my experience, I'm maybe a little bit older than the average Call of Duty player at this point, but like growing up, we didn't give a fuck about 5 of those 6 games. We were going straight to deathmatch, and that's just what it was. Who gives a fuck? I know there's people that play fucking Secure and Destroy or whatever the fuck it's called, Search and Destroy. And I know those, you know, there's some outliers there, but far and wide, people did not give a shit about any of those extra game modes aside from Team Deathmatch. Let's just keep it real. I'm more of a Battlefront guy, to be honest. I got to actually re-download that on the PlayStation 5 so I can stream it. I played since Battlefield 1942, the first one ever. Oh, wow. My personal favorite was Battlefield Vietnam. Yeah, I've skipped a lot of Battlefields, bro, to be honest. It's just I'm not a huge first-person shooter player. I just feel like it gets really repetitive quickly, in my opinion. But God bless everybody that's into. I know Call of Duty, like Smooth Recoil. Shout out to him. He's logged. It has to be thousands of hours in on the game. But I might maybe not thousands of hours, but maybe, as I was saying, Smooth Recoil, if you're in the chat, let the people know. You might have that gold star. You might have earned that achievement. But yeah, the Call of Duty in general, I just don't really see the point past as far as like getting on there with people that you really enjoy from a social kind of perspective. You know, get on there as like a chat room where you're also killing commies and shit. The only thing Call of Duty had at its birth was being a smooth FPS. Yeah, fair. I mean, and now that's not necessarily unique. You know, at this point we have a lot of, I mean, I shouldn't say a lot though, even because you get in and you play some of these fucking games and it's like Minecraft with a gun. And I'm talking about what's the Warzone predecessor, the Battle Royale game, the unfucking goddamn play. What the fuck is that called? It's on the tip of my tongue too. Battleground, Players Unknown, or some shit. That's how you know I'm out of the loop a little bit. I am out of the loop a little bit. I know it's a fucking cringe thing to say, but typically, like growing up and even now, it's more sports games for me, and I get into, you know, the RPGs and the story games when I have time for them. But like Sandor, I'll throw on some fucking WWE 2K before I throw on an FPS more times than not. Give me Baldur's Gate and let me go. Which, Wiggy, I'm sure you're into shit like that as well. I'm just guessing. I don't want to put you in a box, but I can't imagine a man of your intellect not being fucking locked in on Baldur's Gate. Shit is too great. Look at the same games that came out around the same time as Halo and the OG Call of Duty. They were just really well done. The standards were really low for FPS back then. Yeah, I mean, you're for sure. I mean, the thing is, bro, when we go back and play old games, and I think about how I felt like I was in the world of the game at that point, when I go back and I play I bought the remaster of Grand Theft Auto, the trilogy remaster, and I was like, this is supposed to be remastered, and I was like, what is this dog shit that I'm playing? Like, I thought for real I was running around LA fucking gangbanging and shit. I was not. I was playing a fucking just something that is barely above the graphics of Tetris, damn near. So we just gotta put it in perspective for sure. I agree with that. A lot of the games back then were bullshit, but Halo was fucking ahead of its time. What a classic. Yeah, you mentioning Halo, that shit was a bona fide classic. Xbox, that put Xbox on the map, to be honest. Put Xbox on its fucking back and carried it to, being on the level of PlayStation. If not, I mean, there were some times for sure. There were some dark days as a PlayStation player, where Xbox, outdid. They were outselling or just had more popularity than PlayStation, or at least it felt like that. I did play through the recent 40K RPG Rogue Trader. What the hell is that? It's a turn-based one like Baldur's Gate, but I haven't played the new one myself. Oh, you gotta play Baldur's Gate, brother. Oh my god. If we could lock in that, bro, I'll play Baldur's Gate with you. I don't know if it's cross-platform, but I need to play it again, to be completely honest with you. It was that good. I played it, and I just remember it was one of those where, my family was getting upset. They were feeling like they were not getting that time they needed because I was at Baldur's Gate. That's where I was. And, but they understood. There's a few times I brought them in there and I'm like, babe, you got to watch. I'm rolling the fucking dice. That's the other problem. Not only did it tap into my love for the fantasy genre and RPGs and video games in general and all that, but then it taps into just the fucking innate natural love for gambling that you can't help as a human being. Something about just seeing numbers that are bigger than what you need. Tell me a number I need and let me just go above that number and I'm going to feel good about it. It's why you got to hide this fucking view count up here because it gets fucking distracting looking at it, to be completely honest with you. I started on PC and shifted to consoles. Damn, brother, you were a fucking little like child prodigy. You just went straight to the PC. I started on PC and shifted to consoles for the early Xbox and PlayStation 4, but PlayStation 4 will probably be my last console ever. Ooh, PC is just too good. Yeah, I hear you. I mean, once you have a PC, and Sandor's really like knocked me over the head with what the fuck are you doing? Get a PC. As far as like just games being cheaper and just having more, I guess, control over the game, better graphics, so all those kind of things. It's just a little overwhelming getting into it. I'm like, do I really want to build a fucking computer? I understand just rationally when I think about it, it's going to be something that's going to take like an evening or like maybe a day. But I'm still like, God damn, do I want to do that? Or do I just want to buy the PlayStation 5 and then fucking, have fun? Yeah, I mean, I guess I first started with the N64 fire, brother. Yes. I'm not sure if I start I'd have to really think about that because it might have been like Sega Genesis or something. But definitely N64, I was in there heavy. Those were heavy gaming years for me, the N64 period. And definitely Smash Brothers. I was fucking all my cousins up on the Smash Brothers for sure. I was definitely like that, most definitely. But we all did. Yeah, no, N64 was a special console. And then honestly, they did a great job. They went GameCube, Nintendo consistently really did a great job. I know GameCube got some heat, like specifically at the time, but I think it's gotten more respect looking back. In retrospect, people are like, that was a goddamn good system. It was a little wonky with the design of the system, but don't get overwhelmed or get caught up on how the system looks. If it's a cube, if it's a rectangle, who gives a fuck? How does it play? And also, does it take up your whole I mean, as an adult, don't get me wrong, I get a little pissed off when I see how much space that PlayStation 5 takes up on my entertainment center. That's just what it is. Yes, you need it for the future of your channel if you want to keep going. You're talking about the PC? You're probably not wrong on that. Get some high-powered shit so I stop having issues. Like right now, I'm on a laptop, and every time I come out here, if we have even the slightest fucking overcast outside, it's telling me my connection shit. So you're probably not wrong on that, Wiggy. That's something I'm going to have to invest in. But right now, I'm in the process of probably moving. That's why you see me on Mars. Usually, I'd have the whole setup out here, and I'd be more apt to like invite people over to have debates and shit like that. But right now it looks like I'm on Mars. I'm in my fucking garage with a bunch of fucking boxes ready to go and pack up. And yes, indeed. Well, you can do gaming streams between your news broadcasts. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, so I've watched a few of like Destiny's old streams. I don't really watch him consistently at this point, but back in the day, I had seen a few of his streams where he would do like, he would play whatever fucking game he's playing at the top, and then also do his like ADHD fucking Adderall fueled research sessions. I don't have the same benefit of the drugs though, the performance enhancer. So for me, the stream would be fun. And I gotta actually, by the way, anybody that was interested in the Diablo stream, I am gonna double back on that. I gotta beat that fucking game for God's sake. And I don't think I'm even close, but I gotta lock in on that on Diablo 4. I got blessed with it on the PlayStation Store, so I gotta go ahead and knock it out. That's a good idea, Wiggy. I will say, as far as game streams, I got to get more of those going. Civilization, Wiggy, I need you to fucking run through Civilization with me one time. Tell me why I'm not producing enough fucking food for my people. What the hell's going on? There's something I'm missing. And then I got to play WWE with Sandor, and I got to be like, bro, why the fuck won't they cash in the money in the bank? Anybody that doesn't watch WWE, I know this means fucking nothing to you guys, and you're like, why the fuck, bitch, about it? But still. Because I fucking have the show that I fucking record on the internet for people. Listen. Make it easier. 2K, goddamn you. Make it easier to cash in the money in the bank. I want to run out at the end of the match and cash that shit, bitch. Oh, well, I have a game going on with 5 of my friends right now. Oh, of Civilization? Brother, you're going to have to make that 6. I'm going to have to slide in there. You're just going to have to slide in there. Give me Algeria and let me go. Kicking the French right the fuck out. French, get the fuck out of this goddamn country. We're doing our shit, and then I get assassinated by my friend. If you know, you know. That's how it goes. That's how it fucking goes. Let's see what we got. So now, because even though I didn't keep it clean as I like at the beginning, because I'm a compulsive potty mouth. Yeah, we play at night late as fuck sometimes. Bro, I'm on here late as fuck. Like I said, we definitely got to make that happen. Maybe stream a game. I would love to. I haven't actually played Civilization with a group of other people, but I will say, let me lock in there. I'll stream it. And I don't know how much, like if we're hearing mics or whatever, because like I said, I'm fucking ignorant to how Civilization plays as a group. But that could be a fun stream. See Wiggy come through with the fucking crazy diplomatic strategy. Fucking turn everybody into fucking we're 18 minutes in. Nazis, god damn it, we got the stream shut down. Wiggy, we only lasted 8 minutes until you got me to say it. Good day. Shout out to you, Sandor. We're in here. We've just been kind of shooting the shit a little bit while I was waiting for people to find the stream and also testing out the connection, because you know how it goes. The fucking CIA is on my ass. They're throttling the shit out of my internet all the time. Whenever, and I have no problems playing games, streaming fucking shows, whatever I'm doing. And I come in here to sit down and fucking stream this podcast every time, and it says fucking connection instability or whatever. It takes us about 2 or 3 months to play out a match. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of curious how that ends up, how it ended up playing, as far as like waiting for people's turns and it just being a console game. It's harder for me to really imagine playing with like a big group of people, but I guess that's probably why you have to keep it reasonable. Keep it like 5 people. Sandor, I know you'd be great to play Civilization with. I know you give your people fucking healthcare right off the bat. That makes sense though. That's a thing. So I guess what we could lead off with, because it's the least controversial, because Wiggy, you know how it goes, being that you watch Fuentes more than any of us. I'm even a little nervous that I put the man's fucking name in the goddamn title. I want to talk about it. We've been talking about it. We've been talking about a little of the ascension that's been happening here. But you do got to wonder, you know, how much YouTube puts your fucking live streams in a chokehold once you fucking put Nick Fuentes in the fucking title or say his name out loud. But here I went ahead and did it again. And I made the mistake too, Wiggy. I know I thought about you too when I was going through the settings for this video. They have you like opt in or opt out to them like transcribing the subtitles for the episode. I'm like, that's probably me right there. every time I click that, they're like, we're fucking monitoring every single, because why wouldn't they? We're monitoring every single thing you fucking say. And once you say one wrong thing, this shit's going in the goddamn recycling bin of YouTube. I don't give a shit. But then I'm like, they got me anyways. And I'm like, well, they got me anyways. Let's go ahead and get it transcribed for free. Let me know if I fucked it up. But yeah, I think I did. We watch shows and shit on 2 screens. Yeah, that sounds like a fucking party, bro. We got to get the Discord popping like that. Sounds like a great time. Yeah, watching shows, fucking destroying one another's civilization. That's basically real life. Last night, for instance, we watched Stargate and played for about 3 hours. Sounds like it's good for the soul. You probably woke up today refreshed and feeling great. Sandor, it's good times going on. We got to lock in with fucking Wiggy on the civilization. Hey Wiggy, yeah, I'm good. How are you, bro? Yes, sir. Rocking. Yes, have you watched the streams? Not the stream. I've caught the fucking clips. The Sam Hyde stuff I wanted to watch on here, but I didn't end up getting the full. I didn't get the screen record. And when I watch stuff on here, I told you guys before, I have to screen record it because it won't let me play it straight off the internet for some reason. Let's see. Hey, yeah. You should dabble on Rumble too. I do have to dabble on Rumble. I'm 100%, bro. Wiggy, this is the thing. I'm making a move to Rumble first chance I get because I already know, like, right now I'm trying to crack 1,000, and I explained to you guys kind of my mindset there, and so I'm not going to stop putting in the work here. But I already know I'm going to end up getting this bitch to like 1,000, 5,000, 10, wherever I get 10,000, 15,000, 100,000, and then these bastards will fucking cancel this channel first chance they get. Let's just be honest. So I do need to be putting my eggs in a few different baskets here. One of which being Rumble, where, you know, I guess they let you say whatever the fuck you want to say, which I love that. And I think I need to get down with that. But and by the way, one of the platforms that I have to stream through, because these live streams, I think they changed it on YouTube, but they used to make it where you couldn't live stream directly through YouTube until you had a certain amount of subscribers. Like I said, I think they changed that, but so I had to find a different alternative if I want to do live videos. That's how I found this. And I have another one though that I found that actually lets me stream to multiple platforms at the same time, so I don't even have to do. I worry about if I go to Rumble, I'm gonna miss my guy Sandor here. Why you not send me a Steam friend, Wiggy? Yeah, you guys gotta lock in on Steam 100%. Been busy, my man. I'm sorry. I will try and remember tonight. Yeah, definitely lock in on Steam. You guys got to get those, and I gotta just get the whole fucking computer. So I still got to get the whole computer, but then I gotta lock in with you guys on Steam so we can play games, have fun. It doesn't have to always be about the world fucking burning. Sometimes we can play Civilization and, like I said, burn each other's make-believe civilizations to the ground. Just cosplay as a daywalker. Your channel will be huge. Yeah, that's one thing I have to do. Well, I'm just going to start actually just claiming to be a Jew. Fuck it. But now that I said that, fucking, I'm going to get in a fucking feud with Candace Owens or fucking Fuentes in the future. They're gonna replay my shit that I just now said as a joke, take it out of context. God damn it. No, but yeah, we gotta just do a little bit of cosplaying until we get big enough, and then we pull out our real beliefs. Then we go ahead and we just pull up to the fucking stream after we got a couple live concurrent viewers in this bitch, and we just go ahead and drop a few truth bombs. Then we start actually telling the truth. All right, I gotta hold back a little bit. Gotta hide my power levels here. I'm going a little fucking crazy a little too early. Well, it has certain restrictions, but not like YouTube, where the restrictions are very, very thought police oriented. Yeah, very true. And that's definitely true. And I told you guys before, as far as like, I literally did a experiment as far as like to establish if at a time my channel was at least being like the reach was being throttled, and at least in my opinion, I completely proved my hypothesis there. So they definitely get into that bullshit, and it's a sad thing. But I think like we talked about before, let the shit go. The most persuasive ideas, more on a grand scale, will win out. I'm sure there'll be times where people, you know, are either gullible or naive, and they end up getting persuaded by somebody who is just like a really charismatic person making a bad argument, but that's why you have charismatic people to make fucking good arguments. Let it fly. Rumble still has the gore filters. You can't have calls to violence, and so see, that's stuff I can abide by that. I could abide by that, but you got to let me get off some hate speech. You know what I'm saying? If I'm not going to get it off here, where the fuck do I get it out of my body? Or else I just hold that all in, and next thing I know, I've got a Rumble account, had to go over there to see a few videos that are in the naughty list. Yeah, that's where all of them are. That's where, like I said, that's where I'm about to be full time. But like I said, there's a streaming software called Restream. They actually let you stream from more than one platform, and you don't have to have the paid membership. So I think I'm gonna have to probably rock with them on nights that I know I'm not going to play many videos. I've went over this before with you guys, where they just won't let me upload videos that are like 40 minutes long. They're like, fuck you with all that. Keep them small. So, but when I say small, they're like, it's pretty small. Like, it's got to be under a minute. But then, like I said, a lot of times we get in here, we kick it, and we start having a good time and talking about the news of the day, and we don't even really rely on the videos that much. But you don't get deleted for saying things like big pharma. I probably shouldn't have said that out loud, right? No, and that's the kind of thing. Like, as far as like, just let the conversation go wherever it goes. And I think that, you'll have big pharma is going to pay their people to hop on fucking Rumble and argue for them. They're going to pay for their ads to be placed on the most popular fucking creators channels. So this, by the way, this has to do with the federal agencies being rolled out into DC. So if you didn't hear about this, let me be the first to let you know, because maybe you don't know. Maybe it's not a big deal to you right now because it's just in DC. Trump has federalized DC. I'm not sure exactly how long he plans to keep it federalized. And basically what that means is that there are federal agencies on the ground involved in law enforcement, just trying to clean up the streets of DC. You know how crazy they are. And don't get me wrong, I've heard DC is an absolute shithole, but I also read leading into this, and we'll pull up some of these articles as far as like crime being down, violent crime being down, and at what point is it justified to use this kind of like what I would call excessive action anyways. Is this the News Nation interview? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. This is the News Nation interview with Mehdi Hassan. And during COVID, your channel got hit hard if you ever said vax and shit like that. Yeah, I was definitely, during COVID, we were doing debate podcasts, and I was doing them with other channels, and then I'd have people come on, people that live locally, or sometimes I'd do remote stuff. And there were some COVID debates, and I had some like straight up, I had some people on here that were like, don't get the jab, it's the mark of the beast. Like there was that level of discussion that might have put me in a box somewhere. But then we also had other conversations where I had people that were pro-vax that came on as well. That's the thing. Like, just let it, if the conversations are being had in good faith, for fuck's sake, can we at least trust adults to take information and say, hey, I find this guy that's talking about the fucking mark of the beast to be a little ridiculous. Can we trust adults to make that conclusion? But this is the News Nation interview, and unless it was like, go get vaccinated, you will die. Yeah, those people, they got a fucking goddamn mushroom booster from Mario whenever they said that shit. It was like, oh, you're saying that? Pfizer just fucking sponsored your shit. 100 million in ads from Pfizer. Couldn't even say where it came from. It was ridiculous. Yeah. So, I mean, that's a big principle for me since I started the channel is I feel like one of the main strengths that I have here as somebody that's a host is that I'm a real person that comes from a super humble background. My dad was an air conditioning man. My mom was a hairstylist and barber, and worked in insurance for a little bit, which is soul sucking. And we've had debates on that, but so that's my point is that, and Sandor has kind of touched on it. Like, I want to be able to, be at least, I want to give a voice to that portion of Americans that, everything that I've earned in this life, whether it's fucking 10 viewers or 100 viewers or, you know, $50,000 or a $40,000 salary, $100,000 salary. I've earned it all, building it brick by brick, completely on my own. No assistance with that. So no connections through my family and things like that. You know, no family member has ever even gotten me a fucking job. God bless them. So yeah, I'm on that shit a little bit right now. So it's like, I think that's an important thing for people not to just completely bow down to some kind of like elitist class that already believes that they should be able to speak for everybody anyways to begin with. Seriously. So it's like, I'm on my fucking Dusty Road shit right now. Woo! I don't give a fuck if that's Ric Flair. I'm an amalgamation of the two. But yes, this is the News Nation. We'll get into this. We can always have a rant for another day, but that is what it's about. And about real people having real conversations. And that's what my channel has always been about. I didn't ever want to shut that down. Real people that had real concerns about whether it be COVID or we had a lot of debates around BLM and shit like that. A ton of people that I had disagreements with, or more times than not, if you're being an honest person, and if a lot of these news channels, they represent some kind of like caricature of both sides. Like I've criticized Stephen A. Smith several times, where it's like, I don't want somebody to run for president whose job it is to come in the morning and say, well, what's your perspective on this? Okay, I'll argue the opposite. Get the fucking debate class shit out of here. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need that. I need people that actually have skin in the game, have a vested interest. Let's see here. Is the moon landing staged? Of course it was fucking staged, Noah. Come on. You come in here and you ask crazy ass questions trying to undermine the podcast where we're talking about real shit. Then you ask about the moon landing when you know that shit was staged. Don't ever try to make me sound crazy on here. Get the rant on. You do top tier rants. I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that. It's all the years of WWE brain rot. So, but no, I do got to get the rants going. And I think, I do enjoy getting on here with the solo episodes from time to time. I like having Paul come through, or, I have a few other buddies or people on the internet that I've met throughout my time just dabbling. But there is kind of something unique about getting to come on here and really chop it up with the audience. And I will be honest, also, Sandor and Wiggy, you guys make me want to do that a little bit more because you guys are so interactive and add so much to the conversation. You do cut a good promo. Yeah, give me fucking 3 minutes on the mic. Give me 3 minutes on the mic to just fucking speak my mind. I think I've talked about this previously, but like I said, we're in the middle of moving. So one of the places that we're considering moving is Tampa. And I already told my woman, I'm like, hey, if we go to Tampa, I'm fucking enrolling in wrestling school. I don't give a fuck. This is a hobby. Because I'm too goddamn old to tell my woman that I'm going to be taking it serious. That'd be embarrassing. That'd be fucking embarrassing to say that. No, I don't think any of us were alive when it happened. How could we truly know other than just our interpretation of the information? Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's probably the most reasonable kind of perspective to take on almost anything, is to take the information, consider it for whatever it is. And if you end up finding some information you find to be extremely credible and there's evidence that backs it up, then, go with that as something like, this is my understanding of it. But for really, the thing is, there's been so much unveiling of, the bullshit and just how corrupt and like to what extent our government or whoever, these other organizations and people in power are willing to go to cover up, for example, a pedophile fucking ring. They thought we forgot. Hold on, Trump. You thought you were going to roll out the fucking DEA and ATF into DC like I actually gave a fuck about that. And you thought that I would fucking forget that. What? You're on the list, buddy. You're on the fucking list, pal. Come on, we didn't forget about that. So once things like that are like truly like in the open, unveiled, without any kind of like, there's no real critical, if you're being critical at all, there's no way you can look at that and say that's all on the up and up. Everybody involved in that seems to be being pretty honest with me. So it's like, once that is something that's been clearly unveiled to you, how the fuck can you ever take anything from these people and say out, like, just say 100% I can believe that? because the source is already fucking corrupted and it's just a fucking dog shit source. And it's sad that the source should be like the most trustworthy, you know, the people that are you know, government officials in a representative republic. Of course, those people should be like being as direct and open as possible, baby. So is Elon Musk a lizard? He is a lizard. Yeah, that's also true. That's also true. And you can't knock us off our pivot, Noah. We know what it is. We know the man's a lizard creature. And when we were talking about Fuentes earlier, who fucking came in out of nowhere? I didn't even know this man fucking had any interest in politics anymore. He created a fucking political party and then dipped the fuck out. He wanted us to forget. America Party, where? Where the fuck's it at? So yeah, no, Elon Musk, lizard. Confirmed. I can confirm it here. Now, I feel bad for all those women that he laid eggs in. That's fucking disgusting. Or fertilized their eggs, I guess. Let's keep it real. Wiggy Mom said probably. And then, have you seen the torso control cockpit? Holy shit, no. Those I haven't. I've never even seen those words put together. Torso control cockpit. Holy moly. Okay. Or maybe I have actually. I've seen this. I just didn't put two and two together. I've also obviously seen this on fucking. Damn, what was that PlayStation 5 game when it first dropped? Titanfall. Hell yeah. If you know, you know. Titanfall was actually a little underrated, guys. When it first, when PlayStation 5 first came out, people like to say, I might even be talking about PlayStation 4. My fucking timelines are so fucked up, but yeah, no, this Titanfall shit was fire. So let's go ahead and get into it. So torso control cockpit refers to a control system where a user's torso movements directly control a machine. You could have, I guess, inferred that from the name. Often a drone or a robot instead of using traditional controls like joysticks. This system leverages the intuitive and precise nature. This is the fucking way to Pacific Rim. This is how we get to Pacific Rim right here. This is first steps. Because they're having you control it with your torso. They want you to control that bitch with your mind so badly. They want anything to get into your mind. Let's just know that. Know that the end goal is to get into your fucking brain. They don't give a fuck about your torso or cripple people being able to move robots. They don't give a fuck about that. If you think that, honest to God, Elon Musk seriously wakes up in the morning, he's like, I want people to be able to control robots with their torsos. Or do you think that he's like, I want to get into every human fucking brain on the earth? I think if I was to choose between those two dialogue trees, I'm thinking Elon Musk picks the one 100 times out of 100 times. Research suggests that torso control can be easier to learn and more effective for certain tasks, especially in situations requiring a high degree of situational awareness. No, that's okay. How it works, sensors and motion capture systems are used to track the user's torso. That makes sense. These movements are then translated into commands that control the machine's movements. Okay, yeah. Yeah, they're putting, imagine that, bro. They're putting our paraplegics in fucking Titanfall robots. Oh, thank you for that. Yeah, this shit would have died. Thank you for bringing the charger. My lady just blessed me with the charger. So LMFAO, just look at Elon Musk's body. Yeah, the motherfucker is a reptile. And just everything. His torso is just bulging out. Yeah, I mean, I can't talk too much, but I mean, he's a fucking odd shaped fellow. Let's see here. Hold on one second. I gotta plug up. All right, nice. Thank you for that. And Jada Spades, hello. Thank you for tuning in. I'm glad you're able to get in here tonight. And then Wiki says, so Elon, by my extrapolation, has a small lizard living in his chest, operating his human form. Can you imagine? Oh my God. If that's the best body that you could find, God bless you. His stomach is a mixture of beer gut and palumboism. Let me even look that up. That sounds like it's going to be a disease I'm not going to like to see. Let's see here. Palumboism. God damn it. I need this to be a no. That's all I need. Also known as bubble gut and rolled gut. Roid gut. Oh my God. Is a condition characterized by an abnormally large. Oh my God. So how the fuck did he get this though? Hold on, from bodybuilders? Often disproportionate to their overall physique, even when body fat is low. It's named after former bodyguard. Oh my God, Dave Palumbo. Let's just check this guy out. Thinking about your entire life, bro, you're fucking bodybuilding, and then they name some disgusting fucking gut condition after you. The boy's rocking the fucking deep V there, though. Holy smokes. All right. I don't know if I even want to look at his eyes after that. Well, hey, shout out to him and shout out to, he's a fucking pioneer in his own way. Have you seen Elon without his shirt? All his pale, disfigured glory. We really, you know what? One more thing before we look into this video about Donald Trump trying to take over Washington, D.C. Something's a little bit more important than that. And that's just humiliating Elon Musk for a second. Say without a shirt. Has anybody ever typed that in online? I don't know. I might be. Oh my God. Hey, Sandor, is this peak South African? Is this the peak South African physique? Keep it real, brother. Okay, what the fuck is going on with that? That's a AI. Holy shit. All right, well, that's Elon without a shirt on. It's fucking disgusting, ladies and gentlemen. Why the fuck is his stomach getting so concave? You don't got to suck it in, bro. We're all fat on the beach. You know? All of us on vacation are fat as hell. We're chilling. Elon Musk partying with the gays, high on K. Oh, yeah, hell yeah, brother. You know how he gets down. That's what you're supposed to do when you're a billionaire, man. You have all the, him and Diddy have the boys come through with the fucking machine guns loaded, if you know what I'm saying. There's no guns involved. Talking about their peace. It's what happens when you go from really muscular to relaxed. Some people have big bellies that are really hard too. That's true. I've heard of that, like the people having hard bellies from like drinking beer and stuff. So like what Sandor or Wiggy was talking about earlier. But when the fuck was Elon Musk ever like really muscular? Does anybody remember that phase? I mean, also to be fair, Sandor, I'm kind of shitting on it, saying like, is this the peak South African form? But it's like, if that's the case, bro had a whole fucking goddamn one giant muscle under his stomach. So there might actually be some really, it might be good for rugby, Sandor. His physique might actually be on point with rugby. Yeah, no, it's all good. But it had to be derailed. It had to be derailed. We can get it right back on course. Sometimes on the live streams, we gotta derail it a little bit. We gotta uncover some truth. And sometimes that truth is fucking disgusting and ugly. But at the end of the day, you got to look truth right in his face and accept it. Hey, whatever. I'm not saying if I took my shirt off right now, I'd look much better. But god damn, that's ghostly and disgusting. Shout out to South Africa and everything they did in that place. Wiki says you see has a small lizard in there. Definitely, I mean, I can absolutely imagine a small lizard controlling that fucking disgusting body. If he has if he was a little taller and a little wider, it would be. Hey, I'm actually betting heavily on a South African for Saturday. Shout out Driscus Duplessis. I don't give a fuck. I'm letting it ride. Fuck that Russian. But if I would, my confidence is a little fake because as a good bettor, I hopped on both sides of that. And then we got love the new Battlefield. And then Wiggy said, hell yeah, Paul. He said the same thing. He agreed with you, Paul. So you and Wiggy might have to hop in, man. You boys might have to hop in and save the Middle East with your guns from terrorism. Might have to drop in on the fucking on the war zone a little bit. All those people in the Middle East are just dying for you guys to save them from terrorism with your guns and grenades. So hop in Battlefield. When Battlefield comes out, I'm sure I will eventually. I should have gotten the fucking beta. Did you have to buy it? Let me know. Am I full of shit with that? I thought you did, but maybe, I don't know. He was never buff. Yeah, I'm a little confused by that part, because I mean, I just don't remember his era of. I don't remember the muscle era. You know, that's the thing. I ran around with the defib, saving people on the fucking battlefield. I love that. And then I don't know what Elon's issue is. LMAO, it's not normal. He's not he's not human anyways. I mean, he might be the fucking, they might have sent him ahead. We're talking about, when you were over here, we were talking about a little bit the spaceship that they're just kind of like nonchalantly, there was some articles that got dropped where they're like, hey, there might be a spaceship a fucking couple city blocks wide coming towards Earth. We can't really tell. Brace for impact. So he might be like, and maybe they sent him ahead, like fucking 3 body problem type shit. Paul Balcom, go check him out. Balcom P5 on PS5. Anybody that has a PS5, anybody that's out there and is a console fucking loser like me and Paul. I'm not trying to come down on you, Paul. It's both of us, but these other guys, they're a little bit too intelligent to play on a fucking mirror console, brother. They built their goddamn systems. The hunch of Notre Dame, you sweet monster. Yeah, thank you for that. Is the open beta up now? Yeah, I gotta lock the fuck in, Sandor. I'm with you, brother. I'm behind. Dude, you look like a Safa. Hey, I might be. The thing is, I don't know. So I'm not. It's not me hating on him. I have no fucking clue, to be honest. I might be one of the chosen people. Who knows? I don't think I could pass. I don't think I'd pass their test. But I might be, brother. I might be. Gotta go ahead and just give the government wants my fucking DNA to tell me. I was Carlo fighting for the Pax Armada, and then down with the you got NATO dinosaur. Fuck them. I was talking about myself. Oh, you're talking about your own figure, I think. Maybe, I don't know. I'm trying to remember, Paul. Like, you know how it goes, brother. We get to the comments sometimes a little bit, and it can be difficult. Look at a pic before he has hair plugs. Okay, yeah, I'll have to look into that. Maybe not. You can play again from 8:14 to 8:17. Yeah, I gotta lock it in. I'll have to download it ahead of time. I saw it on PlayStation 5. I just assumed you had to buy it. It was my bad. So that was just a dumb assumption from my perspective. The new Battlefield does look entertaining. It does, bro. It looks really good. And I put on Twitter, I mentioned it earlier. I don't know if you're in here, Sandor, but it's like every once in a while they just drop something that really shits on all the development that Call of Duty's been doing over the past year, 2 years, 3 years. Because I mean, from what I can tell, as somebody that doesn't play Battlefield regularly or Call of Duty even, it doesn't seem like a Battlefield game drops every year. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I can look it up here in a second. So it's like, it just feels like they sit back. Not everyone changes the wheel. I know they had, was it called Battlefield 1? The one where they ended up going back to like World War 1. You guys let me know, but they ended up going back in time. They did one of the older wars. But then they end up turn the ship back around again, hit the fucking U-turn. And next thing you know, you see them shitting on Call of Duty again, and buildings are fucking crumbling. Come on. So it's like, yeah, the graphics, everything, you know, looks miles above. And then just the feel of being in like an actual kind of combat scenario, you know, like Call of Duty feels like Warzone feels like you have a bunch of, it's like fucking Stone Cold Steve Austin from The Condemned. You drop a bunch of people on an island and they just fight to their death. A lot of times people are looking for the immersion. And I personally don't feel like Call of Duty is really overly immersive because it's kind of just a silly fucking concept to begin with, to be honest. But also, I'm a bit of a hater. I'm not big into the FPSs, so don't let me shit on your party. If you like Call of Duty, continue to enjoy it. Like I said, Smooth Recoil hopped in here earlier. Go check out my guy Smooth Recoil in his gaming, 100%. It does have cross play, brother. EA name is the same. Have to watch BB with the wife. I'll definitely enjoy Big Brother. We always trying to reach aliens. None want to reach us. Yeah, I mean, that's probably a good fucking reason for that, Noah. I'm stuck on this planet myself, and I wonder, do I even want to speak to my neighbor? The answer's no, sadly. Sadly, in this society, it's a no, I will say. She knows. It's an older woman. We walk outside. She turns her back to me quickly. I look like I have something going on my phone, which I don't have anything going on my phone, and we don't speak to each other. And that's just what it is. That's kind of America today. Let me get in contact with some aliens to socialize with. You know, they might have something fucking good to say. Throw on a pair of khaki shorts and a t-shirt, a short sleeve shirt. You'd 100% pass as a Safa farm owner. I don't know if I want to pass as a Safa farm owner. They kill their asses. But no, I could see that, I could see that. And I don't know many South Africans, let's just run down the list. We have Elon Musk, we've already talked about. Peter Thiel. Get me the fuck off that goddamn list. Okay, I'm sorry, Sandor. I'm sorry you're on the list, but no, I'm not hating on South Africans, though. I'm just giving you shit. But that's the thing. I think I've touched on previous episodes, but it's like I'm very skeptical as an American, anyways. It's such a melting pot, and where I there's like a lore for your family, but then there's in reality, what is your background? And I don't want to even give any hints here, because as I told you guys, I'm still in school. So it's like I want to be able to apply for as many grants as possible. So I like to keep it ambiguous. And then open those NAACP grants up and say, well, hello. Well, hello, and thank you, Dad. Wiki says, I'm going to be like Sean King. I'm just kidding. And don't investigate that. I'm not actually applying for those grants. CIA agent, fucking FBI, whoever's watching this. Dana White. Wiggy Wom says, yeah, I'm actually decently excited for Battlefield 6 single player campaign. Battlefield 3's campaign was really on point for today's geopolitics. 4's sucked fucking ass. But 6 I have hope for. Yeah, the thing is, I kind of always, like I said, I'm a story guy, so I always kind of enjoy the campaigns, but they're too short, so there's just not a reason to buy a game, in my opinion. Battlefield, I don't know about, so Battlefield 3 might have had this really kick-ass campaign, or maybe their campaigns are great in general, but when I have bought Call of Duty in the past, I always play the campaign, because that's kind of my preference, and I'm always disappointed in how short it is, and like you could finish that bitch in a day easily. And I understand why. It's because obviously the focus for the game is on their multiplayer experience. But even then, I got a question: how much is the focus on the multiplayer experience when it's basically the fucking same thing over and over again? Like, how much are you actually having to tweak it? You can't just is it not copy and paste? I don't want to simplify it, guys, but come on. Let's see here. COD has been crap for so long. I think this is Battlefield's year. I agree with that. And like I was saying earlier, it's every once in a while they take a major leap forward. And then, then they release several titles after that whether they may be good, I'm not really speaking on the value of the games themselves. If you're a person that likes Battlefield, they may actually still be really good. But just something that really, really pushes the development forward of those types of games. Sometimes you get those with Battlefield, and I just feel like fucking Call of Duty so complacent. And that's with the little bit that I play it. So I mean, COD, yes, they've been dog shit. Aliens freak me out. I'd like for them to say hi, just to end the debate, but then I want them to dip and not come back. Well, first off, Paul, we don't know what these aliens look like, brother. We don't need to get into specifics, because this whole thing might get thrown a little extra off course with the whole daydream session of what these babies might look like. But yeah, I'm not ruling out some alien honeys. My Earth wife is gonna have to understand that I also might need a, Zentarian wife, or whatever the fuck we're gonna call them. I don't know. Let's see it. As long as they're not giant fucking bugs like Starship Troopers, I think I can get around it. If they come to Earth and they look like giant. I was gonna say turtles, but I'm like, well, Ninja Turtles are cool, so I'm kind of like I'm making it a little too easy. Not like Ninja Turtles though. Let's say they look like regular turtles, okay? But humanoid turtles that stand up on two legs, but don't look like Ninja Turtles. Scarier than that. I could work with that. And I'm not saying fuck them. I'm saying like I could get diplomatic with them and have a conversation and get past the fact that I'm looking at something that looks like a turtle. That's just an example. So I'm not gonna rule it out. And I'm not gonna it's like, let's not fully be against it, brother. Who knows? These people, these aliens, they might be ready to welcome us into the fucking Galactic Federation, bro. How do you ever get to Star Trek if you just are afraid to, interact with our, fucking multi-planetary brethren? Let's talk about it. And also, by the way, anybody else that has seen the show Aliens, if my woman's awake when I hop off this tonight, we're definitely getting down on that before I go to bed tonight. So I might have to talk about that on stream. Aliens. There's a new Aliens TV show on Hulu. Check it out. Let me know how you feel about it. I haven't seen it yet. So don't fucking spoil it, please. Wiggy says, like the whole Russia thing in Battlefield 3 single player was really prescient in that ending. Maybe I need to check it out. With Battlefield 3, how old is that? Are we talking about something where the graphics are gonna like somewhat hold up, or is it gonna be in gameplay, or am I gonna be looking at fucking Minecraft with guns? You let me know. Age has made me retire from COD. Reflexes are gone. I mean, my dad plays COD still a lot. Now he does complain about his hands and says his hands have a hard time keeping up, but I mean, it's also because sometimes he'll lock in for a long period of time. If you do it from time to time, I feel like, I know it's better off not playing it. I'm gonna be honest. Don't fucking play it. I don't even know. I'm not gonna sit here and advocate for COD. Fucking don't do it. There's other games you can play with your time that I think you'll get more out of it. Like I stepped away from WWE 2K last night, went to bed. I'm not shitting you. I laid down in bed and I was like, damn, I need to find a way to get the fucking title on Penta. I was thinking that. I would have never thought any shit like that walking away from COD. My head would have hurt. I would have probably been like, damn, why the fuck were we talking to each other like that? Talking to each other like shit. Now all of a sudden I have an epiphany that my fucking, cousin doesn't respect me or something, whoever I'm playing with. Come on. It's just, it's toxic. It's toxic. Instead, sit down and throw on a nice little game of Civilization and completely dismantle, maybe starve out a population like your fucking BB Netanyahu. Noah still plays Mario on, I don't know if you're saying you still play Mario on Nintendo, but because it says stills play, so I'm trying to figure out what you're talking about there. But if you're saying you play Mario on Nintendo, or if you're insulting me and saying I do, the truth is I do. I have a child. So we'll get into a Mario Party game quick. Underrated Mario game, Mario Party. Lock in on Mario Party. Do not fuck around and don't underestimate it. I need a new single player game. I've just about done everything in my Fallout 4 playthrough. Is that your first time playing Fallout 4? I can't imagine it is, but Fallout is the shit. I watched a video the other day about somebody breaking down some of the news around Fallout with Todd Howard and all that, and they're saying that we might get a Fallout game before 2030, baby. Let's go. Let's fucking go. Will we be alive? No one knows. I'm not gonna hold my breath on it, but if I'm here, I'll enjoy it and I'm gonna pick it up. Story wise, they are decent. Mechanics sometimes janky. Battlefield 1 had an excellent historical campaign. You could have picked up Battlefield 1 for $3 2 weeks ago on stream. Damn. Or Steam. Honestly, a decent single player game in a full 3-dimensional format is a rarity these days. I don't disagree with that. I have heard decent. I don't know. You posted something about Mafia, the new Mafia game on in Discord. So I don't know. Did you hear it was bad? I heard it was actually decent. So You'll have to let me know if you heard it was bad. You guys just reminded me that Alien Earth is out now. Probably sucks, but have to look. Yeah, I'm with you. I thought it wasn't coming out till after the 20th in August. So I just thought it was later in the month, but I had seen some stuff on Instagram or something about it, and I went and looked on YouTube, Hulu rather, and I was like, "Fuck yeah!" It dropped. So that was last night, and then I made the decision with myself. I can't go more than 2 days. Tonight I was gonna stream, so I know that when I get off here, I can't be mad. My lady might already be in bed, so I can't watch it without her because she gets into the alien shows as well. It does look, but it looks really good. I don't know if you've seen the previews. It looks really cool to me. I don't know how you feel about the whole engineer storyline with the alien universe or whatever the fuck they call it. But I had read that they're getting away from that, event or whatever. So I don't know if it's not going to be canon at all, or if they're just going to tell a story where that's just not really a relevant part of it. So I did hear they were getting away from the whole engineer thing. Battlefield 3 still looks good on PC. Yeah, I know. I got to get my head out of my ass there. I'm playing like a broke bastard. But here with the alien thing too, we were talking about aliens earlier. Is this a bit of like predictive programming? Like now all of a sudden they're bringing aliens to Earth? So just weird timing. Just weird timing. They always got on our ships and stuff. We always assumed they were getting back to Earth at some point, but goddamn. Maybe just watch a YouTube cinematic if you want to just get the story without buying it. Never a bad option. Yeah, but I like getting the experience of it's older game, so I don't know. I'll have to check it out. I'll definitely have to check it out though. I like the whole story aspect. And when you think about it, video games are a really interesting way to tell those kind of stories specifically. Perfect for fucking brainwashing, to be honest. Like start putting third graders in the mind of a fucking World War II vet liberating concentration camps. Bro, they'll fall in line. They'll kiss the wall fucking tomorrow. They'll be like, hell yeah, this is what I played that game for. Battlefield 5 had a small story DLC about a Tiger tank crew during the fall of Berlin that was really sad and good. That's actually a good point too. That's one of the things they can do with that series, or just with like little DLC story options, is because the characters themselves don't have so much vested in them at that point. They can like truly just tell really like gripping, impactful stories. And when you're talking about stories about war, I mean, it's the most impactful kind of shit you can imagine. So the rest of the game is doo-doo dog water for Battlefield 5. It's the first time I've actually finished the main story and doing the DLC. Oh, okay. Yeah, Fallout's fucking awesome. And I haven't done all the DLC because I didn't buy them all, but I finished the main story, I think, on there 2 or 3 times. At least like, the main storyline. I love the alien stuff. I just don't have Hulu, and that is sad. If you have Disney, it might be on Disney as well. Because I know that they're connected, but somebody told me that they're going to be doing away with Hulu at some point and just wrapping it all into Disney Plus. I'm not sure. So if you do have Disney Plus, you'll have an option to watch it, I'm sure. Otherwise, I'll report back. You guys tune in here, and I will definitely let you know if it's any good. And with Alien, they fucked it up plenty of times. So I'm not going in completely blind. I'm not going in with rose-colored glasses. I know that they can fuck it up. But they've also nailed it. They've nailed it quite a few times. It's Disney over here. Oh, okay. So you don't even have Hulu over there. That's interesting. Yeah, bro. When I was seeing how much it's going to cost to catch all the wrestling events now that it's a part of ESPN, I was, bro, what in the fuck is that? I'm like, let me move over to New Zealand, just wrap all that shit in one and just do the rest of it illegally. But yeah, they're fucking us over here. Somehow wrestling moved away from the pay-per-view format before UFC ever even fucking considered it. Now we're seeing wrestling go back to a pay-per-view format for some fucking reason. Why wrestling has gained in popularity more than it ever has in the past, at least in the past 30 years, probably. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sandor, because I know that you're tied in with wrestling and you might have a different opinion on that. So I don't want to, I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. I'm trying to be honestly precise with what I'm saying. Literally, the surge in popularity with wrestling, friends that I fucking, that would look at me and be like, why the fuck do you watch this gay shit? Are now, I mean, they fucking, have you seen what's going on with John Cena? Oh man, my favorite wrestler back in the day was fucking da-da-da-da. Bitch, you're a liar. You told me to my fucking face that wrestling was fucking garbage and is retarded, and why you couldn't even respect me after seeing me watch that shit. I'm just kidding. Not to that extent. Not to that extent. I gotta do dinner, boys. Check it out. Hey, I'll check back in. All good, brother. Enjoy that dinner and let us know what you're having, because I haven't got dinner myself yet tonight, so I need some inspiration. I want to definitely know what you're having. Way better on streaming services. Pay-per-view for wrestling is archaic 100%. And the thing is, if your audience, this is where they talk out of both sides of their mouth with wrestling. And I got to get back into this video because Trump is doing some fuck shit, but this will definitely get me riled up, boys. It'll get me riled up talking about wrestling. Listen, the reason, in my opinion, that you've seen this surge is because you're admitting on one end, like, hey, we don't want to cuss anymore. We don't want to talk about our dicks and balls on TV anymore. We don't want to have ladies strip on fucking camera in the middle of the ring anymore. All the good shit we're going to take away. I'm just kidding about that. But for real, listen. And what's our justification for doing that? Well, because we have primarily a younger audience. So we want to cater to our younger audience. Okay, fuck you for that. Because you never catered to me. And I liked it. And I liked it when you didn't cater to me. That's the thing. Kids don't want to be catered to. Kids want to be the opposite of catered to. Kids want you to show them some vile shit that their parents are like, fuck, why did I bring you to this event? Damn it. Now, the thing is, that's not a good thing for wrestling necessarily. And I'll go ahead and I'll put my cards on the table and recognize that's not necessarily a good thing. But the reason it's not a good thing is the reason why it's not a good thing to bring it to pay-per-view. And the reason why it's not a good thing is because the parent is the yes or no. The parent is the yes, it goes, or the no, it doesn't go. So the reason you don't really give a fuck that the kids love to see Stacy Keibler slowly going between the ropes and they're going to fucking beat their fucking meat to that for the next fucking 9 months. The reason you don't cater to that is because you recognize that, well, the parents, if the parents decide it's not for their kid, regardless if their kid likes it, they're not bringing them to that anymore. Now, apply that same fucking train of thought now to pay-per-views. Once you make it, hey, this event is going to cost you $30, $50. If they're going to go the same route as UFC, which, considering it's the same parent company, I actually think they probably will. Everything's more expensive. I think they'll see this back in the day. In the US anyways, pay-per-views used to be like $30 for wrestling. Nowadays for UFC, it's like fucking $50, $70 for a pay-per-view event. Do you think that the WWE is not going to take that opportunity to say, fuck you, suck our dicks? It's fucking $70, it's $50, at least $50. I guarantee $50 pay-per-views. If it's $30, I'll honestly, I mean, I'm talking out of my ass a little bit there because it might be $30. But even if it is $30, to be honest, I'll even meet them at the fucking low ball. That bridge of entry now, or barrier for entry, better suits this, is going to limit when those kids come to their parents and they're like, listen, mom, fucking John Cena's fighting tonight. He's fighting Cody Rhodes. And she's going to say, I don't give a fuck about that. Okay, cool. And then they're going to say, but it's really cool and I need your help to watch it. And they're going to say, what do you need from me, motherfucker? This is how Americans talk to their kids. And then he's going to say, we need $30. She's going to say, get the fuck out of my face right now. Go turn on Paramount Plus and go watch something on there. We already paid for Paramount Plus. Fuck you coming to me asking for an extra $30, and I suspect it'll be more than $30. But just I'm tapping into my memory banks here, and I am thinking I maybe saw something that said $30. So I want to be fair to them. But I still, even with that being said, think that you isolate the biggest portion of your audience, if they are even admittedly saying that the biggest portion of their audience is kids don't have money for pay-per-views. Triple H, Nick Khan, who the fuck are buying your pay-per-views? Not hard-working motherfuckers. Because listen, I love wrestling. I'm not trying to shit on it here, but I'm just going to have to keep it 1,000% real because that's what we're doing here. If I have Netflix and you're telling me wrestling's on, I'm throwing that bitch on right tonight. We're going to have a good time. I'm going to watch it with my daughter. We're going to laugh at it. We're going to root for fucking whoever we're going to root for. It's going to be a beautiful thing. Okay. It's on Netflix. Now, if you tell me I have to pay $30 motherfucking dollars to watch these fucking muscle-bound meathead motherfuckers who could barely talk on a mic play fight? I love wrestling, but come on. Say what it is for $30. I'm going to watch these grown-ass men in fucking baby oil sit here and baby fight each other. No. If you were to say now it's Drew McIntyre and it's Roman Reigns pay-per-view, it's on Peacock, we already tap your pockets for fucking $10 a month or whatever the fucking price is for Peacock. Okay, I'm hopping in for that. That's a fight of a fucking century. Let's see it. I want to see that. But once you start dipping into my pockets for some extra change, I have to be very honest about what I'm seeing. I have to be very honest about what's on my fucking television right now and what I paid for. Sandor says, it used to be nearly $60 when they would do pay-per-views over here. Yeah, that's fucking outrageous. And it might have got to that point before they stopped doing it. My family, like I said, my family didn't have money like that. When I was growing up, I had a lot of siblings and my family was a normal family, like check to check. So coming to them saying like, hey, could I get $30 for this pay-per-view that they didn't give a fuck about? My dad was like, wrestling's gay as fuck. Stop watching that shit. Honestly, that's how my dad, and I don't agree with him. It's not. I didn't agree with them then, but that's somebody needs to reality check the motherfucking board of TKO or whoever made this dumbass decision. Somebody needs to go in there and say, hey, hello. Okay, so I'm a fucking real person that has a fucking normal family that works a normal goddamn job. $30 for the fucking play fight at the end of every month is not going to work. Not going to work for dad who fucking busted his ass for 50 hours this week. I'm sorry. He's going to tell you to go fuck off. That's a night of dinner. Or not even. You're like, damn, I feed half the family for that. I'm going to have to say no. So just get your head out of your asses, WWE. Recognize what it is, who you're catering to, and, you know, I mean, honestly, also what makes the product great, the access to the product and all these people reacting to it in real time, live events, things like that. That's what makes the WWE great. It's not necessarily the product itself. I mean, how many fucking wrestling promotions do they have where people are fucking, you know, pulling each other's fucking chodes and nobody gives a fuck. Nobody shows up for it. There's a reason for that, because there's not this kind of like fervor or energy behind the event itself, behind the characters that it involves. So just, I mean, all in all, we got to say WWE, fuck you for that. Fuck you for shitting on the Brokies. And then UFC, like I said, that really doesn't make any sense to me why at the same time the UFC is going on to Paramount Plus where they're saying no UFC events are going to cost any extra money. So it's like they took the WWE route while then having the WWE adopt the old practices of the WWE in the current practice of UFC. So I don't even understand. Like, aren't the same people generally involved in those decisions? So how did they come to separate conclusions? I'm really confused by it. It's a good question, Sandor. I have considered this. So I don't know if I think I am caught up on the WWE Unreal. If not, I'm close. So I want to say I've watched 4 or 5 episodes. I know there's only 5, so I don't know if I've caught the 5th. But but to engage with your question here, so do you think WWE Unreal is good? I think it's bad for business. So this is the thing. I think both of those statements could be true. And what I mean by that is, like, as a longtime WWE fan, do I find it interesting? Do I think it's like cool to see the behind the scenes, how everything's planned out and plotted out, have some of the whispers that we've maybe heard through the grapevine confirmed? That is cool. And it is done really well. But then I agree with your second point as well, where I think the nature of wrestling is just unique. And we're going to watch later on. I have, if I can get to it, because I didn't expect to do a whole hour of like just chopping it up. So I'm going to try to get to it. But I have here the Karrion Kross interview with Ariel Helwani. I don't know if you saw that, but that's kind of similar, where he's sitting down, he's having a shoot interview where they're talking about the business itself, decisions that are made. And it's like, obviously with kayfabe and wrestling, there's just a very kind of like thin line there that's being straddled. And Unreal's not even attempting to do it at all. Unreal is straight up showing you like, hey, this is how we came to this conclusion. This is what we did here. This was how we planned this. This is how this happened. So I would say that is, in my opinion, undoubtedly bad for business. So I would agree with your statement. And as far as like, is it good, to circle back around to that, I think for as good as it is, production wise, or just like kind of whatever kind of, I don't know, kind of intrigue there is, getting a peek behind the curtain, it's not worth what you give up on the other side of like the magic of wrestling. And I do understand there's probably two different audiences here. And I watched wrestling as a kid and I still do as an adult. So I've experienced this in the way where I remember watching wrestling and being like, this shit is 100% real. These people are actually fighting. I'm completely invested in it. I believe, fucking Stone Cold Steve Austin is the baddest motherfucker on the planet, even though he's a fucking, fucking incessant alcoholic. Cheers on that. So I bought into that, like fully blindly bought into the magic as a young kid. So I remember that experience. And then I also remember that it is a different, right now I know that it's a different experience when you kind of realize what the dance that's going on is. And you kind of like acknowledge it for what it is. Now, I've been a big advocate because I've always watched wrestling a bit, even in the times where I didn't watch it weekly. If I would catch it on TV, I would like tune in here and there. Just because like it was formative for me as a child. It was very important for me growing up. And just like as a bonding thing for me and my siblings, like some of my cousins, like we were fucking balls deep in the shit. And some of my fucking earliest meanest memories were slamming for some cousins harder than I should have in front of audiences of other cousins. Like formative. You understand what I'm saying here. But then, like I said, I've experienced the other side of that, where it's like you recognize what's happening, and then you can appreciate it for, the performative aspects, the comedic aspect, the just storytelling. You still get kind of like caught up in the story a little bit, less so than when, like I said, I'm like, they need to let Rey Mysterio be champion. He needs a chance to fight for the belt. Not understanding at that time, which Unreal would have, pulled the. Would have risen the veil on this, as far as like, you're thinking that Rey Mysterio is up against impossible odds, but in reality, if you watch like Unreal, you see that it's a collaboration. He's collaborating with his own downfall, and then for that to lead to some kind of like eventual, cathartic takeover and win for the babyface to win the championship. So, I don't know. It's interesting because that is a art form where you have, depending on your understanding of it, vastly different experiences with it. So, but like I said, to answer your question, I would say that it's well done. It's interesting as somebody that really enjoys the business. It does kind of kill the magic that the business itself creates. And it's interesting because I mean, I could kind of see a similar thing with like stage plays, but not to the same extent, you know. But still, some of like, it's like magicians too. Shit, anything where it's like it's a performance and like the audience isn't fully in on the performance. You know, it's not a song that you know, or it's not a, you know, this or that. You know, in this case, it's a magic trick. You know, it's a magic trick. And if the magician were to sit there and show you the peek behind the veil, sure, there's some sort of like educational benefit to it. On top of it does provide some kind of entertainment, you know. I mean, that's really the best way to put it. It's entertaining, like when you see the peek behind the veil and the fucking magician's like, actually, I didn't cut her in half, she took off and ran, or there's another person in the box. But then when you see the trick done again, does it not have the same impact? Doesn't it have less impact after you see how it was done? Where the act of unveiling the trick, once again, it does have some entertainment value. It does have some kind of like there's some information being passed on there. All in all, does it then lessen the impact of all of the tricks you do going forward? I would say yes. So, you know, hopefully, honestly, like I said, I did think about this separately while I was watching it with my lady, who I've recently kind of got into wrestling as well. So she enjoys watching that kind of shit. Back in the day, she watched Total Divas a little bit. So I was watching it a little bit for her, but just because I'm interested in the business, I did want to check it out. And I will say I won't be mad if we don't see a season 2. I appreciate that, by the way, Sandor. I won't be surprised if we don't see a season 2, and I won't be sad about it. I do think a funny thing about the WWE audience is, I mean, I'm an example and you're an example. Like, we want to be lied to a little bit. Like, not lied to, but it's like we want to continue that magic as much as we can. We don't necessarily need to know everything. And to the extent that we do notice things, or you notice like the ref squeezing people's hands and shit like that, it's like, it's nice for that to be earned through just observation and watching it and just being a longtime fan, rather than it just like force fed to you. And, you know, the WWE Triple H is like, we're going to show you how we did fucking literally every single thing. It's like, I hopped on the phone with fucking Travis Scott. I'm like, oh my God, eye rolls. Why? That kind of shit actually just pissed me off. But anyway, Justin Bieber's new album, Jonas Brothers' new album, Taylor Swift's new album, Life is Wild. You have to explain to me where the hell you came. These are all things I don't personally care about. But you got to make the connection there, brother. Paul, that's hilarious. You came out and we're talking about wrestling. This man came through. Justin Bieber new album, Jonas Brothers new album, Taylor Swift album. Life is fucking perfect. You'll have to let me know though, brother. Are those albums all absolute fire? I didn't even know Taylor Swift. I knew about the Justin Bieber album, but I didn't know the other guys came out with the album. I miss kayfabe. You're right. We knew it was fake, but got caught up in the fun of it. Yeah, got caught up in the fun. And then also, like I said, when you notice little things like the refs doing the X when there's a real injury and shit, those are things that you kind of felt as a person that had been watching wrestling for a long time, like you had earned that sort of like inside look at the craft. And it just wasn't force fed to you. Even more so, it was actually hidden from you. And those things where it makes it even more fun to uncover it, because, you know, the industry itself is actively trying to, you know, play this kind of like game on their audience. But I agree with you, man. I miss kayfabe. I miss wrestlers smacking the shit out of reporters for even suggesting it could be fucking fake. Now, I mean, nowadays, if you're going to do WWE Unreal, if you ask a wrestler like, hey, this shit's fake, right? Back in the day, wrestlers were right to smack the fuck out of people for doing that. But now, if they're going to blow the whistle on their own industry, you can't expect that same kind of respect to be given to the character. You know what I mean? So But we're gonna watch we'll get into this, I'm sure, a little bit more. I'm gonna try to get into this Karrion Kross video and not get too carried away with all the other shit we have to talk about. But I mean, how the fuck is that even possible? I have all these Fuentes videos, and Wiggy's got to come back around. I need him to defend his boy. He's under a full-on siege from the fucking right. It's not fake. It's scripted, but not fake. It's still disrespectful to call it fake. Well, scripted. I mean, I see the nice little distinction that you're making there, but I mean, you could say it's fake because they're acting as if it's real. You could say it's scripted if it's a situation where, I don't know, like, I mean, reality shows are, I would call fake. It's also scripted, but the reason it's fake is because reality shows are pretending to be real. Whereas like a TV show, for example, TV show is presenting itself as, hey, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. These characters aren't real. And then they turn around and script it and all that. So I think it's fair to say there. But this is an interesting conversation, so I don't want to move on past it. Even Paul, I could have this conversation back and forth, and it'd be fun for me. But I have been putting this fucking video off for too long, so I got to get into it, because in order for me to get back to the Karrion Kross video, I got to get through all these political videos I have. All right, so actually I got to get headphones. So 1 second. It's still real to me, damn it. I mean, it is real in the sense that they're like falling on their back and shit, but it's like in movies they do that too. In movies they do stunts, and it's like it's just the same kind of concept. They're doing stunt work. But so here I'll read this real quick, but then like I said, I gotta slide past it. I don't watch wrestling, but I can respect that people tattoo themselves with Marvel characters, although it's utterly fake. I mean, I would say Marvel's fake too, though, to be honest. Respectfully, there's still suspense, and the outcome isn't pre-told. Real injuries. Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you're saying as far as pre-told, aside from it is pre-told to the actual people. And then movies, like I said, we wouldn't say movies are real. People get real injuries from movies as well. But maybe that's an interesting conversation. I am planning on doing more wrestling content. Sandor has been on me. He's been, and also Spoo was on me as well, about doing reviews for old pay-per-views. So I will get around to doing that. It's just the editing aspect that I really fucking don't want to do, to be honest, Sandor. It's still real to me. It is, and it's still real to me in a way. You know, I get locked in, and I'm still like, well, I'm not even gonna say Santa Claus. You feel what I'm saying, guys? But I treat it like that with my daughter. I'm like, yes, Io Sky. She's really, yes, they're in a full-on fucking blood feud. You know, I need her to understand the magic, because before it gets pulled from under you, you need to at least feel the magic, you know, that these people are fighting in a fucking ring and putting each other through tables that are on fire and shit, you know. But let me get to this video real quick. So guys, if you're tuning in for any political talk, just know I do that. I do that sometimes. And there was some of it at the beginning of the pod, but we got a little off on a side tangent with wrestling, which I also love. So if any of those things tickle your fancy, subscribe and share this video to anybody that likes those things on top of music. I'll get into that every once in a while. It's been a little bit for music though, just for full transparency. Even though Paul's over here telling me like, let's get into this Justin Bieber album, fucking Jonas Brothers. Let's go. Take it to the top. Taylor Swift. But yeah, so also sports, football season coming around, any of that kind of stuff you want to hear people just chop it up on it, have regular conversations. I'm your man for that. You want to hear some debates? Also, we get into that from time to time. Subscribe, hit the bell. Because sometimes, you know, they hide me in the fucking, little kids table or wherever the fuck they put people that they don't want their opinions to get out. They don't want their voice to be heard, but I yell from the fucking ether. And then sometimes if you're here, then you heard me. If you're here, then you heard me, and it's a special moment. Hit subscribe, show some love. This is going to be a little bit of the politics portion of the podcast, though, and I will end up getting back to some wrestling talk. So if you want to hear that, come back around later, stick around, because we are going to react to the Karrion Kross interview with Ariel Helwani. But we're going to, for just a moment, we're going to divert into politics. And this first topic that we're going to talk about is what, in my opinion, is a bit of a canary in the coal mine, we'll say, with Trump taking over, federalizing Washington, D.C. And just to lay my opinion out there at the forefront, and it might evolve as I watch these videos, because I am live reacting to these with you guys. I haven't seen them ahead of time, not at least in their entirety. Obviously, it's something I'm against. I don't really see it. There may be precedent for it, but at the same time, is there an actual need? There may be reason that you may have reason to do this if you had reason to do it is the problem. So currently, from everything that I had read leading up to this stream to prepare for it, was that violent crime in general is down in Washington, D.C. Crime is down in Washington, D.C. So there doesn't appear to be any immediate need. And similar to some of the overreach in power where we saw people getting fucking bagged up and deported, I think these are all things that we have to watch very closely. Even people that, you know, maybe you're not particularly sympathetic to the people of Washington, D.C., and maybe you think it is a shithole. I may also feel like it's a shithole. It doesn't mean that it should be policed by federal fucking agents, and that laws should be enforced by federal agents, and that those agencies should be turned on the citizens of the country. I think that should be a high standard, and we should expect higher of our government, not to turn our law enforcement agencies against us, you know, so gleefully, to be completely honest. And one of the things that I want to especially highlight, so I'm already against this kind of in principle, but I think there's a bit more of an argument from what I understand for this. But this is the real danger, is that we've already seen kind of ramping off of this, where Trump's taken the opportunity to say that I might want to roll this out into Chicago. I might want to roll this out into New York City. I might want to roll this out into Los Angeles, which you've already seen them overstep into Los Angeles. So I think we should take all that extremely serious. And we should take this as what it is. I kind of mentioned earlier when I was introducing this topic that a lot of this does feel like a ton of shit has been thrown at us, flooded the zone, as Steve Bannon would say, to distract us from Epstein. And I think that, you know, this has been actually capable of doing that and setting us back, and diverting public attention, because these are things that you can't not pay attention to. When you're seeing the capital of the country be turned into a little miniature, you know, practice ground for a police state, and then you hear the commander in chief also sitting there talking about, we're going to roll this out to all the biggest cities in the country. Like, those are things to seriously be concerned about. And you know, so you can't just kind of push them off, because these are actual threats, like tangible threats to the freedom of individual American citizens. And I think if we just turn our back and we just allow these things to happen in cities that aren't our own, as far as, like, you know, if you just think like, hey, I don't live in fucking Washington, D.C., I don't live in New York, I don't live in Chicago, all of these things, all the way up to what they do to immigrants. And that's one of the big reasons I implore people to speak out about the shit that they're doing to immigrants, because these things get rolled out against the unsympathetic groups, you know, like terrorists, for example, like things like the Patriot Act, like that all got rolled out on the back of people's fear of people who are Muslim. And that was the Trojan horse. Like, hey, we're going to go after terrorists with this. Of course you want us to go after terrorists. You don't want us to be able to go through people's phone without a warrant? Do you fucking love terrorists? Like, so this is the same kind of shit. It's like, oh, you don't want us to be able to federalize Washington, D.C. You must love fucking crime. You must want old people to get fucking mugged. Well, no, of course not. Maybe actually fund our the police in Washington, D.C. If they're understaffed or undertrained or whatever the situation may be, address those kind of things. Don't just put a Band-Aid on it by saying, okay, well, we're going to descend federal agencies on the Capitol itself. But without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get into this. And this is going to be Mehdi Hassan on News Nation. And let's see his conversation.
See, cops want help. What is the right of the mayor and others to say, no, they don't need it?
The last time I checked, Leland, we're in a democracy, so that's the right of the mayor and the people to say that. I mean, D.C. actually is not part of our democracy, right? The people of D.C. have been disenfranchised for a long time. That's a whole separate discussion that we don't have time for tonight about home rule and control by Congress, and the fact that they don't have members of Congress, etc.
This guy said, yeah. The bitch, he made your argument for you, dumbass. You didn't say that. You said, what say does the mayor have about whether or not the only fucking one of the main says, you dumbass?
But Trump has the right to do this, so we've agreed on that.
Oh,
so
Trump has a legal right to send troops, and he doesn't have a right to interfere in the government, which he's now trying to do. Only Congress does. But, you know, let's just take this one by one. Statistics that you don't like. The statistics do show that crime is down, violent crime is down in D.C. These are FBI statistics as well as city statistics, as well as every stat out there. It's at a 30-year low, violent crime in Washington, D.C. It's down 35% last year, and as you said, 26% this year. You know who bragged? Leland, you know who bragged that crime is down in D.C. by 26% in April of this year?
I'm sure you're going to say Trump did, but I have no idea.
Trump did, yeah, Trump did. They took credit. They said, "Look, crime's down." Ken Martin,
look,
his acting attorney. No, it's important because when they wanted to show the statistics in their favor, they did. Look, it's down. Crime is down in D.C. Homicides are down in D.C.
I think you're making a mistake here because you're making a mistake here because it doesn't matter whether it's up or down. It was at a high and out of control during the pandemic.
Yes.
Whether it's up
why talk about the pandemic when I'm gonna fact check these statistics that he just gave because that was very interesting. But he just said in 30 years. He said in 30 years. Why the fuck are you talking about the pandemic? Why is Trump federalizing DC for crime that was happening during the pandemic? Fucking dumbass.
Up or down is irrelevant. The fact of the matter is it still happens. Okay, we have video from Friday night where a mob of kids took over a store and looted it. We have video from about a week ago where they beat up this mob of 15-year-olds were carjacking somebody.
Hold on, just because this is relevant, so we're just gonna pause it. But I'm coming right back to the video. You're not gonna be looking at my beautiful face for too much longer because I just want to show you this because this is what my man Mehdi was saying. So I want to verify. This is from the DOJ right here, Department of Justice. So, I mean, if you trust their numbers or not, I don't know. I mean, plenty of reason not to, I suppose. Violent crimes in DC hits 30-year low. And this dumbass was talking about the fucking pandemic. Idiot. Total violent crime for 2024 in the District of Columbia is down 35% from 2023 and is the lowest it has been in over 30 years. I mean, Mehdi didn't even have to read any more of the article. He had to read the first two sentences, and he got that fucking little talking point there. According to data collected by the Metropolitan Police Department and announced by the United States Attorney Matthew Graves, a breakdown of the data is available here. In addition to the overall violent crime reduction, homicides are down 32%, robberies are down 39%, armed carjackings are down 53%, assaults with a dangerous weapon are down 27% when compared with 2023 levels, with the district reporting the fewest assaults with dangerous weapons and burglaries in over 30 years. The strategy, this is a quote, the strategy this office began to employ shortly after I came into this role has been to work with our law enforcement partners to focus on the drivers of violence, those gangs or crews of people who are dealing drugs, protecting turf, committing carjackings, and other robberies, all while armed, said U.S. Attorney Graves. It takes time to develop these investigations and prosecutions, but this is the fruit of that labor, a reduction in the violent crime that DC is now seeing. I mean, come on. The fuck are we even talking about? Let's just get back into it so we're not falling too far.
Beat somebody up, almost killed them.
Listen to
what
dumb
about
fuck
their rights? I'm still trying to understand why, if you're a law-abiding citizen, more police is a bad idea.
But it's not more police, right? It's the National Guard. Hire more police. Did you know that the Trump administration just cut $20 million in security funding to D.C., which is weird because apparently crime is out of control. When you say it doesn't matter whether it's up or down, it does. Some of us believe in truth and facts. When you say, you know, crime should be stopped, of course crime should be stopped, but this is not the solution. Are you planning, or is Trump planning to send the National Guard to every city? Is he going to send it to Aurora, Colorado, which has a Republican mayor and a higher crime rate, violent crime rate than D.C.? Is he going to send it to every city? This is not sustainable, Leland. You're smarter than Donald Trump.
I hope he sends it to St. Louis.
You can't solve the crime.
Just before he gets too far past his original point, because I just really think this is important to touch on, and I'm talking about dumb fuck to the left. He had said, why is more police an issue for law-abiding citizens? before we started this video, I just want to highlight that is the version of that argument that we talked about before the video started, where he's saying, why do you even give a fuck about this? Like, if you're not doing anything wrong, why would it even matter to you? You must want other people to get robbed. I mean, why, if you're a law-abiding citizen, first, Mehdi touched on, we're not talking about just police officers. We're talking about like ATF agents fucking being in the streets and shit. But then even aside from that, I think everybody there should be some level of, you just don't want to live in some kind of like authoritarian police state with people that are on every corner, with their main focus being law enforcement. And then, I mean, even I think other people have an even deeper concern as far as like how those kind of tools are used by people in power to oppress people. And I think those are valid concerns. But I'm saying, even if you're not getting into the weeds on that, and you're just looking at it at most common sense take of all time, if you pull up to I don't know, like fucking gas station, do you want a bunch of fucking cops always there? I mean, if there's a police officer at a gas station, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Sometimes it's nice. But that's not really a commentary on it being widespread throughout your community, you know. Let's see here. Same arguments they use for censoring the internet. Why don't you want to keep children safe? Yeah, absolutely. And like I said before we started the video, this is a thing that they do as far as like they try to hone in these kind of policies as, well, they're just going to affect criminals. Like if you're not a criminal, then why would you even give a fuck about this? You know, we're only going to go after criminals. Or like I said, the deportation thing. How many fucking like dumbass Hispanics did they have? Dumbass like illegal immigrants. And I'm just saying Hispanics because in Florida there was a good amount of like Hispanic support for Trump. And then there's tons of stories of these people being deported after the fact, because I mean, the line that they were being sold and they believed was like, hey, we're going to get the criminals out of here. We're going to get the fucking rapists out of here, guys. You don't want fucking rapists to be deported from your country? Do you really want to protect illegal fucking rapists? Well, of course, that's not the fucking idea. Of course, nobody is arguing for that. People are looking at it and they're saying like, hey, I don't want these kind of thug tactics to be used against people that there's been no crime substantiated against them to begin with. And even if there were, like I said, this is the fucking Trojan horse. Is this bullshit where they're like, guys, we're just going to be, there's just going to be fucking FBI agents all over fucking DC because we like want to stop people from doing crimes more. I never thought he would deport me. Oh, bro, so many. I got to play it because I've referenced it a few times, but there's a fucking guy in Miami. They did a whole music video about fucking a song where they're talking about we will vote for Donald Trump. Motherfuckers got deported. You had the guy in Houston. I read a story about the guy in Houston that owns this restaurant called Trump's Burgers. His dumbass is getting deported. I mean, I do take a little bit of like happiness from it. Not really, but it's like, it's just ironic. And it's like, you look like an absolute dumbass. What did you think was going to happen? Like, literally, it's like, that's why, in a way, I appreciate Trump in this way, because it's like, I actually could understand in like former administrations. We talked about like Obama, like a week ago or whenever it was. Do I think that Obama wasn't a fucking shiesty fucking war criminal? We talked about many things on this channel as far as like that he did that. Basically, it's been the stance of being a United States president to inflict tyranny and fucking be a war criminal. That's kind of like the first thing you have to do. Because when you're stepping into the job, you're already involved in the shit. They fucking implicate you right a fucking way. But the reality is like when I look at him as like a speaker or a politician, I do understand how people could be more, fooled by that. With Trump, it's so fucking out in the open. Like I said, does this not feel like how you step into a police state? Does it not feel like the first step is saying, we're just going to crack down in Washington, D.C. because like we can do that. Like it's not a state technically. So we're going to start here. Now, I mean, like I said, they could stop there and it would be actually kind of difficult, aside from the fact you could pull up like crime statistics and say like, well, what is actually the reasoning for that? But at least there would be some kind of like backing for that. Once you think about it in any further, like, well, actually not think about it. Once you just shut the fuck up and let fucking dumbass Trump talk a little bit longer, you give him the mic for just a little bit too long, his ass starts talking about taking the show on the fucking road. doing a fucking 3-country tour or 3-city tour. Let me take this bitch on the road to Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York. And if you think it's going to stop there, Miami, I mean, to be honest, if you haven't already felt it, Miami, with fucking ICE running around your streets and pulling people out of their jobs, pulling people from their fucking court dates, punishing people doing it the right way, if you're being completely honest. Like, it's almost the opposite strategy than what they initially said. Like, hey, we're gonna go for criminals. I think they ended up finding out that criminals are actually harder to find and deport because they're doing criminal shit. It's way easier to find people that are actually, you know, following the normal kind of pattern of human fucking life and deport them. And they're also an easier catch because, I mean, they more likely aren't armed. Fucking ridiculous.
Problem by sending the National Guard. We're Americans. We don't like the military on our streets. We're not a tin pot dictatorship. We should be able to sort out crime through law enforcement, through policy, which Donald Trump doesn't seem to care about.
So let's put the National Guard aside. Let's put the National Guard aside. What's wrong with having?
I'm not going to put the National Guard aside because it's quite important. It's at the core of this. This is about Trump wanting to do a power grab. This is about Trump's obsession with the military. You can pretend it's about. You think it's because Trump cares about crime in D.C. Really? Because I remember Donald Trump on January the 6th, 2021, not giving a crap about crime in D.C.
Now verb January 6th. Okay,
sorry,
Mehdi, no, Mehdi, come on.
Let me finish my point. This is a short segment.
I know you said that. 150 police officers got hurt.
Hold on. You gave Bill O'Reilly a lot of time. Let me give an answer. I'm here for much shorter time. Let me speak. On January 6, 2021, you may want to move on for it. We all watched police officers in D.C. being attacked by a Trump-supporting mob, 150 injured, 600 people convicted.
Mehdi, you're going to sit here. We know the statistics of January 6th. Mehdi, you're going to sit here. Mehdi, you're going to sit here. Mehdi, you're going to sit here and say if Trump cures cancer, then January 6th was terrible. Okay, the fact of the matter is you can't have an argument. You can't have an argument about what's happening on the streets of D.C. without going back to January 6th.
Because it's about
you won't talk about actually the crime.
Donald Trump, Leland. But Leland's
no, it's not. It's about how to have people be safe.
I said to you, Donald Trump doesn't care about crime in D.C. You said, yes, he does. And I said, I'm going to give you evidence to prove he doesn't. If he cared about crime in D.C., why did he pardon 600 people who assaulted police officers? You can't come and make this emotional claim to me.
Come on, Mehdi. You can't. You're talking about completely different things.
You don't actually care about crime, then.
You cannot talk about this. There's completely different things going on.
Why?
What do you mean? Either I care about crime or I don't.
Where was the National Guard? Where was the National Guard on January 6th, 2021
come on! You can't
in DC?
No. This is silly. This is absolutely silly, Mehdi. You can't do this.
Why?
No, because it has nothing to do with what's happening or what the arguments are right now.
Damn.
Okay, and you can't. No, it has nothing to do with
crime matters in DC. The victims of crime matter in DC. What about the cops in DC? And I'm
the only person who died on January 6th was a Trump supporter, and you can't talk about what's happening on the streets right now.
Let me know when you want me to speak.
Holy shit, look at that.
No, you can't talk about anything. You cannot talk about this without talking about January 6th or anything else. You won't have an argument on the merits. Mehdi, thank you as always.
Thank you for watching.
Jesus. All right, Kumio, chill the fuck out, bro. So I actually have another video as well. I have to pull that up so I can upload it into our conversation here. I see you though, Sandor, as far as like, and I saw Noah said, does anyone remember the infrastructure bill? Yeah, nobody gives a fuck about that or gives Biden any fucking credit for that. Sadly, because that's something that I think overall was a positive. But as far as like, that's part of the issue with when you have somebody like Biden who was a compromised speaker during his term. So he wasn't really able to even advocate for his accomplishments. So whatever he did do, and that's his own fault, to be honest. No, I mean, he wasn't getting in front of the people at all for the last 2 years of his presidency. Like, but I do think it's fair to say what the fuck. Let me find this video real quick. It had to do about this as well. So
what are you filming? What am I filming?
No, that's just a fun video about people annoying each other.
100%. Think about it. Of course, I got Muslim niggas in the chat.
Where was this?
What happened? But it kind of actually worked out brilliantly, and you didn't plan it to be this way. No,
I'm trying to honestly remember what the fuck, like, who was. Oh, it was this guy? Yeah, that's what it was. It was Baby Johnson. I couldn't remember who the fuck it was. I'm sorry to even like subject you guys to this, but we like to see all sides We like to see all sides. And every once in a while, we like to just put a fucking bootlicker on blast. This fucking bitch right now on his hands and knees licking the boots of Trump. Disgusting. He would give his own wife away to Trump if he could. Or to Putin. This is the motherfucker that was getting paid by Tenet Media. Let's just call it what it is. You know, I know these guys, all the people that were involved in that, their fucking skin curls when you mention it. But let's be honest, Benny Johnson, this is the fucking guy that was getting paid by Russia. Let's just talk about it. Every time we put him on the screen, we have to mention that. And we have to also mention the fact that, and I believe them, this is the thing, they say, we didn't know we were getting paid by Russia. Russia never told us anything. They never had any control over our content at all. They just gave us hundreds of, like $400,000 a month and just let us go. Think about what that says about your fucking content, doofus, dumb fuck, idiot. Bro, listen, hey, if Bibi Netanyahu, let's just use him as an example because he's a cunt. Okay, if Bibi could just hand me some money through, you know, several buffers or whatever, let's just not say it's directly Bibi, but let's just say it's Israel, right? If they were going to fund this podcast, but then not say anything about what the fuck I'm saying on it, I would have to look in the mirror. Why is whatever I'm doing right now all right? I would actually feel better if I got a check and they were like, hey, stop doing those videos about fucking us starving fucking children in Gaza. Like, that would make more sense. The thing is, they would never pay me because I'm not going to fucking stop talking about that kind of shit. That's just what it is. So think about that. Tim Pool, Benny Johnson, Dave Rubin. I wish I could remember the other people involved. Lauren Chin, I think, was like the fucking main one involved. She actually fucking was supposed to know where the money was coming from, to be honest, but whatever. Benny Johnson, Tim Pool, Dave Rubin, they said they don't know. They say they don't know. I'm actually going to choose to believe them on that. You fucking idiots. You fucking idiots. That means whatever you were doing was actually perfect. It was worth the fucking price tag. They're like, yeah, this is worth fucking $400,000. Look at how he's fucking destroying America. So far, what you pay trillions in deficit without any benefits. So far. Oh, so for what you pay trillions in deficit without any benefits. I'm not sure if you're still talking about the infrastructure bill or not. So that's my bet. Well, I mean, I think I saw your comment when it first came up. I think you might just be a little bit too far away from what I was talking about. I'm not sure if we're talking exactly if you're referring to this or that. So that's why you just got to give me have a little bit of patience with me, explain what you're referring to. I'd happily respond, Noah.
President Trump is doing God's work by refederalizing D.C.
This man, fucking Donald Trump's cock is poking his prostate right now.
By the way, D.C. was set up as a federal city. It's in the Constitution. It's how our founding fathers intended it. These laws are still fully enforceable. They've never been rescinded or amended. President Trump and the executive, through the House of Representatives, controls Washington, D.C. President Trump controls budgets. House of Representatives and the Speaker of the House is technically and historically the mayor, the lead of D.C. That still remains on the books. What happened to D.C., especially during the civil rights period, was that protesters that were bussed up here stayed here. The city was burned to the ground. This happened during massive riots throughout the 60s and 70s. Mass swaths of the city were torched and were never really rebuilt. And so what President Trump is doing is reasserting control of not only our nation's capital,
did you just say the 70s?
but truly the seat of Western civilization. It's one final little note here that kind of blends outside of the personal, which is that Washington, D.C. is a representation of the work of your forefathers and mine. It is, by every measure, a very beautiful city architecturally. It is a sacred city. It is a sovereign place with the monuments to great men and women who've sacrificed far more than you or I could ever dream for this country. It must be preserved because the peoples of Earth come here by the millions per year in order to witness the success or failures of our systems. And if you are a proud patriot and you love this country and you wish for it to be reflected honorably to the peoples of Earth, then Washington, D.C. must be swept.
Just notice that. Just notice he keeps on saying people of Earth. I'm just saying. We were talking about the aliens earlier, and he's being very specific with calling the people of Earth. America will never make spuns like China. Sorry. Yeah. Hey, I mean, fair enough. Keep buying your China shit, bro. You just got to pay a little bit extra for it. No big deal. Yes, in 1973 is when the Fed made this law that Prez can take over DC in emergencies. Yeah, it's great. Thank you, Shyla, for that information. We do have to look at your last name with a little bit of questions. You know what I mean? Are you related to Peter Thiel? Be honest with us. And it's okay either way. If you want to go ahead and pass this podcast along to him, and he maybe has a, one with a couple zeros behind it that reaches the number of a billion, then maybe we could sell this platform and just say, fuck it, go right off into the sunset forever. No, Shyla, I appreciate that. But that's part of the Eastern Germany. I'm from Montana. I trust somebody from Montana way more than a fucking German. That's part of what got us in this position in the first place. But no, hey, that's thank you for clarifying that, because I thought that that's what he said, and that's part of the danger here, is as far as like justifying it based off grounds of, and like we heard the justification earlier, where it's like, I don't remember who the guy was on News Nation that we were watching, but he's like, crime was that the worst it's been in the pandemic. It's like, bro, you cannot use the pandemic to justify things that are happening today when we're talking about low crime rates, and even based off of last year, which you wouldn't consider that a year impacted by the pandemic. So he's from Germany. That's amazing, though. Amazing. Thank you for tuning in, Shyla. Also says, so not likely. That's a good thing. Maybe a bad thing. I don't know. Maybe a bad thing for you whenever we truly start to transcend into our robot form. I don't know if you're going to have an end, but you're going to be right here with me, Sandor, and the rest of us, just letting our biological bodies decay away into whatever's next.
Clean. I believe entire neighborhoods probably need to be emptied, need to be bulldozed. I believe that there are places that are so crime-ridden and so infested that you just need to, you're just going to have to crack down. You're going to have to do the job, and you're going to have to get the crime out of Washington. That's my personal experience. Don't believe the bullshit that you hear online from some reporters. Oh, crime's down in D.C. Well, my infant nearly died in a drug fire.
Okay, that's not funny. That isn't funny that his infant nearly died. But I'm just saying, using that as justification, you're saying like other people are talking about like macro numbers. People are talking about the crime rates down, violent crimes down. My kid almost died. Roll out the fucking tanks. Which, don't be wrong, as a father, I mean, hey, I get, feeling a little bit like that if that happens, but it's just, just even like listen to that statement for a second and you'd realize how dumb it is. Shyla says, it's so funny that I have the same last name as the Antichrist. Yeah, what kind of luck is that? Basically, it's in 3 forms. It's in the Bible in 3 forms. No, I think that's what are the odds there? And then Noah says, and he's such a bad Antichrist, he can't even bring himself to claim not to be. He gets asked that question and fucking system completely fries. Bring what jobs from China that Americans don't want? Look at employment stats. I'm assuming that you're talking about like people not participating in the workforce and things like that. But I mean, so just a little bit of pushback onto that, because we're not necessarily talking about that right now, Noah. Not that I love your questions, but I want to just finish this out and keep it on the DC stuff for now. But I assume you're talking about like infrastructure bill and things like that. So as far as employment statistics and people not participating in the workforce, I think we have to consider as to why that is, not just look at the numbers on their face and say, okay, this many people aren't participating. They must. I mean, do you think these people are, like living high on the hog at home? Like how? They're finding a way just to get by. And I'm sure they're choosing like, I'll take this way of just getting by where I don't necessarily have employment on paper. If I'm going to commit to some employment on paper, that's still going to result in me just barely getting by. So, people will take on, these kind of like, less stable kind of lifestyles if the safe choice and like contributing to the job market and things like that isn't actually rewarding them in some way that's, if not equal to their time, at least, it just fucking makes sense. Like when you start to think about a job as somebody who works And it's like, I get people that are coming in at like the entry level feeling like, well, this just doesn't even make any sense. It's not worthwhile. And, you know, as far as like companies in our country and around the world, I think they have to take ownership there. It's not a problem with the worker that wants to be paid a fucking livable wage. The problem is that the worker can't find a place that they feel as if their, you know, their time is being valued and their skills are being valued, whatever that is. And then Sandor says it's not that Americans don't want jobs. Yes, so that's exactly what I was just saying. So Sandor says it's not that Americans don't want jobs. They don't want to get paid slave wages. Yeah, of course. And I mean, when you're looking at it and you're saying, hey, I can have some small business or whatever it might be, I can get engaged in like the gig economy. I can say that, to be honest. I had people that worked for me. I would hire them in, and sometimes you'd pay people like 17 to, you know, maybe $20 an hour. Which I was working in a kind of a specialized industry. So it was actually a little bit more entry level than a lot of other places would be. So yeah, like $17, $20 an hour. I have to be honest, there are times in between work where I would do like DoorDash and shit like that and make that. So I don't understand, like from their perspective coming in, I get that kind of struggle that they have. Like, what loyalty do they have to their businesses and their community to just go ahead and work for some kind of like Sandor put it as some slave wage to make their owners rich? There's just, what's the drive to do that? Silas says, if we get the dollar backed by gold and take all the extra printed currency out of circulation, working will feel worth it again. Oh my gosh, Shiloh, shout out to you. And if our brother Wiggy is near a phone, I'm just saying this would be music to his ears, what you're saying right here. He's a big bring the gold standard back and fuck all the other bullshit. We're almost done here with Benny Johnson, and then we'll be done with him forever. So, by the way, Sandor, I didn't read your comment. My bad. He said Benny is so deeply in the closet. Yeah, 100%. He's ass deep in Narnia right now. He's fucking lost, and he's never going to find his way back home. Let's go ahead.
After mass shootings. So no, DC is not safe. And I can tell you this as a matter of fact, it is one of the worst, most racist narco states and welfare states imaginable. In that neighborhood that I would walk every single day, racial epithets were screamed at us. Rocks were thrown at us because we were white people. This city is a sunken place. It is an unsafe place. I mean, if that's what happens to me, imagine what happens to somebody who's like,
no, Benny, you're a bitch. It happens to you because you're a bitch. People see you walking down the street and they're fucking compelled to yell racial slurs in your direction. I've lived in cities, and I'll say I've lived in some rough areas of cities too. So I can even empathize with, you know, being a kid at times and not feeling the most comfortable walking outside. But that's not, those kind of like anecdotal situations are not reason to like roll out federal agencies and use them on domestic citizens. Like, it just does. Like, I'm just saying, like, none of these things lead to a proper justification of what you're justifying. And you're kind of being a total fucking cuck, like tapping out to the establishment and saying like, it's scary outside, roll out the fucking tanks, take away our fucking rights. All right, so let's see here. Sandor said Wiggy is eating dinner, wondering why he just cracked away. Exactly. Yeah, he just heard that. He heard the fucking he heard something about the gold standard, and where's he at? I don't know. That's supposed to summon Wiggy, I thought. This de-dollarization going on will bring the value of our dollar down enough that it will be easier to do business with other countries again. This is all going on behind the scenes. Yeah, oh no, that's how they do it behind the scenes. By the way, I'm gonna find a place to post it, but it's kind of difficult just because I do need to promote this. My guy Sandor told me to make a fucking Discord. So if you guys like to talk about political shit, all like I said, everything under the sun, we talk about music recommendations, film recommendations. We talk about some wrestling a little bit in there, quite a bit actually. You gotta check out the Discord, Sin Politic Discord. I will have that in my bio. I just have to figure out how to make the invitation last longer. That's what the internet was telling me. Right. If Trump wants to revolution, the American should increase the wages. Right. If Trump wants to revolution, the America should increase the wages. No, you have to understand that's a tough sentence there, brother. That is a tough sentence to understand. Right? And I'm trying. And I hope you feel my effort right now because I really want to understand it. And I'm not trying to shit on you right here because trust me, I've had some typos that make me look like a total fucking D. Right, if Trump wants to revolution, the America should raise. So yes, they should increase wages. I don't know what the rest of this means, but if you're, in my opinion, of course, and managing those kind of like profit motives and things is very, very easily. You can link it in this chat. I don't know how, but I know you can. I'll have to definitely try to do that before I hop off here. But yeah, so if you're just asking me on that, I think absolutely without a question. If you want to have really, if you want to have ambitious people be involved in as far as like entry level jobs, or else people will just opt to sit out and try to find their own way on their own. Like just ambitious people, they're just not gonna, or some will end up saying like, this is my lot in life. But then you're not actually maximizing those people that just say, fuck it, this is what life is because this is all I've ever been exposed to, even though they're actually extremely intelligent people. So not only should we increase wages, but we should also increase accessibility to college for poor people. Without a doubt, so especially state institutions. Like these are all things that I think alleviates our the amount of foreign labor that we're dependent on, as far as like in the tech sector and things like that, which we're only moving more and more into. So it's like these things actually benefit the country. People end up painting them as things that solely benefit this class of people that are kind of paying. I'm not saying you're doing this necessarily, Noah, but I think that people like that push against wage increases or push against free college, they talk about, lower class people as if they're like these fucking parasites. But honestly, it's the exact opposite. They do the most work, create the most production, and get the least back. So, I'm just suggesting, why don't we make the most out of the people that we have in this country? So I used to dislike Trump, but I recognize what's happening, and it's all going to break the stranglehold we've all been experiencing. Okay, well, hey, and that'll be interesting. I wonder if so, Shyla, kind of make your kind of perspective here a little bit clear for me, because I'm curious. I lived in a car for years. Charlotte, shout out to you. That's it. This is a struggle, and I'm with you. You see where I'm at right now. I'm living on the planet. Nobody else is fucking here. I'm here by myself. No fucking no domicile. So I used to dislike Trump. So yeah, just explain kind of what you're saying here. So you're saying that Trump or in his administration, they're specifically trying to break some stranglehold. If you could explain, I know it might be a lot to type out, but I'd love to hear that perspective more, genuinely. And you can link it in the chat. I'm going to try. I don't have the Discord on this computer. I don't think it's all on my phone. So I'd have to kind of like step away, and I don't want to do that while we're full swing. But I will try to get that in the comments in case anybody wants to join it. We'd love to get more people in the Discord and, contributing to more of the conversation. Well, the CIA won't be headquarters in London, to sum it up. And if you play Hitler, at least bring some progress instead acting like an oligarch. Fair enough. Yeah. And that, you're probably not wrong on that. At least as far as like, if you want to ascend into some kind of like populist position and you want to maintain that position. And I think this is kind of where Trump is going wrong. So I'd like to hear, Shyla, your opinion on it. If you're somebody who supports Trump at this point, I don't want to mischaracterize your position. But yeah, I mean, if you are going to step in that role where you're going to be, the like strong man leader, if you want to maintain that position as this populist leader, then you have to actually materially deliver for those people. And I think that is where Trump's administration is missing right now. The momentum that they had was undeniable. And I think they had a ton of nationalist momentum behind them. And if they would have tapped into that, I think it would have been interesting. But I think they've really shit on all of that goodwill that they had with their base, and even people that were maybe outliers, associates to the base, that they had picked up along the way. Shyla says, yeah, sure, it looks like we are okay with Israel, but that's about to flip. Yeah, I mean, but see, like I said, I'm curious your opinion. We would have to get into it more. We'll have to have you come if you're interested in getting on camera. I know not everybody's interested in that, so no pressure. I appreciate you even tuning in tonight. Shyla, it's been fun having you on here. But yeah, I'd like to hear if you have a kind of pro Israel perspective. I'm on the opposite spectrum of that, just for full transparency. I wish we were less okay with Israel. I wish we were less okay with supporting all their actions. And I mean, we're like basically the only country in the known world that at this point is still fully signing on for everything they're doing. Trump is a super narcissist. He wants ultimate power. He won't let the crown and the Jews stand on his head, puppeting him. He wants to be the puppet master, which will ultimately serve us in the end. Okay. I have a channel too. I'm not pro-Israel. That's awesome. That's awesome to hear, Shiloh. Yeah, I'll subscribe to your channel as well. We'll just have to get together in the chat or whatever. Like I said, I gotta post this Discord because that's the best way I've been communicating with people that follow the channel at this point. And it gets a little tricky. I'm a little illiterate when it comes to. But by the way, anybody in the building, if you guys like what Shyla's saying, go check out her channel. I don't know if they can just click on your profile that you have here and bring you straight to the channel, but I'd love for people to go check you out. I do want to make more of a point to network. I get in my own bubble and we sit here and we just we talk about all the shit going on. So I would definitely love to branch out and talk to more people who are creators out there and whatever they're doing. Right now I'm trying to get this link, so don't think what I'm doing is weird. So try that link if you guys would like to. I posted that from my own personal account, so it should pop up hopefully. If you see a link in the chat, anybody that's a moderator, please let that go. That's my own personal YouTube channel, not the one that I do sit in politics from. But at the beginning of this, I'm in this fucking garage on my own, so I have to check the fucking volume before I go, or else sometimes I'll sit here and I have the podcast of my life and then nothing happens. And I'm like, oh, nobody heard any of that except my woman in the other room. My country is being very gay about recognizing Palestine. Yeah, I mean, not recognizing Palestine is one thing, but then like outright fucking shipping over billions of dollars is a whole nother thing. That's where my country's at. It's less gay and more just like ew, the Jews send him treats through iPhone child. Holy shit. Noah, just keep on talking like that. I gave you a bit of the doubt. I said it was a typo, but that's just how you talk, and I like it. They can't track it because it's like it seems incoherent, but it actually isn't. So I like it. No, keep doing that. Yeah, so I mean, but I agree with you, Shot, as far as like the super narcissist thing. I see your perspective, but I do kind of still feel like, the Israeli powers that be have their hand far up his ass and are informing a lot of his decisions. But that's just me. Like, I mean, when you look at like the BDS shit, we talked about it last week. It's super hard to sit there and defend that, I think. I have weird content. Okay, just a warning. I look a bit unstable, channeling energy sometimes, like today. I love that though. No, the more unstable, the better. I just seem relaxed right now. If something gets me riled up, I'll get crazy on here. So no, I like that. Provide a little bit of a wild card to the audience here, and anybody that, like I said, just wants to experience something a little different. By the way, when you say weird content, are you talking about politics or are you talking about something else? Either way, I welcome it. I don't just watch it like this. Let's see what else we have, because I do have a shit ton of stuff. Oh, this will be a fun thing to get into, be able to get your guys' opinion on, because it is a little controversial and I wonder where everybody lands on it. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's fucking hilarious. Broken arrow. We have a Noah and a Shyla. We've been breached. They found us, boys. God damn it. I knew putting Fuentes in the title would fuck us over. No, that's hilarious. Broken arrow. It does feel like we could be breached, but Shyla seems like a good egg. And Noah seems good. He seems fun too. I don't know. Good egg might be stretching it a bit, because he seems like he could be a bit of a wild boy, but this sentence right here still has my brain broke, right? If Trump wants to revolution the America should increase the wages. I mean, but I agree with it. I don't know what I'm saying, but I agree with it. Just talk and pose as I live my life. It's just whatever. Yeah, I like that. Kind of the same thing here for me. Although I have been really enjoying getting in here and chopping it up with the audience more. I didn't always do live content. For a long time, I primarily did like pre-recorded debates, or I would do live content on other people's channels. So, not to get into the whole fucking, not to get into the whole like blackball story, but I had a little period where I wasn't like, I'd put out videos and it wasn't reaching any audience at all. So I stopped for a little bit just to kind of test my theory out, and I came back and it was the chains had been released a bit. And so yeah, I've been back to doing content more over the past couple months. I've been really enjoying it. So I'd love to, just by happenstance, if I find a cool lady named Shyla Teal. I mean, like fucking Sandor said here, Shyla, we were talking about the Jews, although Shyla did say that she's not going to let the Jews make her fucking decisions for this country. That's not going to happen. So I don't know. I don't know if we have been breached. I think Shyla might. It just might be a coincidence. The name is the name is the red herring. I have 7 years of prediction hints for 7 years on private that I just randomly put up, then take down. Oh my gosh, yeah. No, you seem interesting. You seem interesting. That it seemed like you could be a little bit of trouble, but I love that. Yeah, I need to see the fucking. I need a private link to the videos. Double Daywalker. Yeah, no, it's a Shiloh. We're gonna keep our eye on you. Just know that. But yeah, I'll definitely check out I'll check out the content myself, and I'll subscribe after I'm done here. But anybody else that wants to check out Shiloh's stuff, I highly recommend it. She seems like a good egg. Seems like I hope that you stick around. We do these streams either Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. I try to tap in for at least 2 of those days. Now this week I'm doing a little bit different. It ended up being Wednesday because I live in Florida, so we had some crazy weather yesterday. It was looking very sketch as far as like being able to record live. But then even aside from that, I was already planning on possibly changing days anyways this week. So a little bit of a sneak peek for anybody that watches the channel regularly. I'm hoping I talked to Jay. Jay reached out to me, and I'm hoping I get to have him come on Friday. He said on the weekend he can come in here and chop it up with us. I was in the Jeff Mara podcast about Tropical Storm Hillary. Oh, hell yeah. Okay. Very cool. So yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, shit, if you're in the, I don't want you to dox yourself or anything, but if you're in the area, we might have to do a live podcast. Just let me know. Oh, look, I dropped a nickel. See if that one works. Let's see what else oh yeah. So this is what I hate to do this because fucking Wiggy's not here. And this was, if I might put it off a little bit, maybe we can watch this immigrant video. Wiggy, if you are hearing this, just know I'm putting out the bat signal for you. I'm about to play these Fuentes videos. Wiggy is our, what would it be, our resident, I don't want to call him a Nazi. That gets it's too loaded. The word carries too much baggage. He doesn't deserve that. But he's a supporter of Nick Fuentes, and we have been covering a little bit of that ascent and him gaining some popularity, I guess. I mean, I don't even know, because I don't know if I would even say popularity, because I think people were aware of him, but people are coming around to having a more generous view of his perspective, I'll say. Give him 15 minutes. Okay, I'll give him time. I'll go ahead. I'll watch something else while he finishes what he's doing. I'm not trying to press him, but I know his opinion would be interesting because he's a longtime supporter. So I don't have that. I don't have that kind of like background knowledge. I kind of know, just how he's crossed paths with some other creators. And that's really my exposure to him. And then recently, as far as like I fucking am being inundated with his content on Twitter, you can't. When I hop on Twitter, I'm gonna catch at least 4 fucking Nick Fuentes videos, and not by choice. I'm being radicalized by fucking Twitter. Shyla says, I made them pray with me basically, and we changed the direction of the storm. Its forecast changed, and it rained on the fires instead of Oh, okay, yeah, like I predicted. Oh shit! I actually already love you. I'll watch your channel more. you're interesting also. I appreciate that. No, much love going back to you as well. And this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship, I think. And shout out to my guy Sandor. We have a good community here. It's not super big because I am really, like I said, getting back into committing to making the content regularly. But since I have picked it back up, I've been lucky enough to meet this guy Sandor here, who's a great gentleman from New Zealand. I respect him, and he adds a lot to the podcast. And also Noah's, this is the first night, at least I don't remember conversating in the past, but you see Noah, he's a wild character. Wiggy, like I said, we're waiting for him to get back in because he's a regular viewer, and we have some intersection on our views, but there's some differences, which I think is fun, and all, that's welcomed. So yeah, we have a nice little community here that we're building. So I'd love for you to be a part of it. You seem like a swell gal, and hearts back to you. And got a bad feeling Shyla is the honeypot sent by Mossad. Yeah, I mean the thing is, they've been watching the content long enough. They know sent the honey, the crazier the honey pot, the better. I want some. Send me some Peruvian honey that'll make me hallucinate, please. They know how I get down. You're not gonna be able to send me a fucking Gal Gadot. I'll see through that shit. I'm gonna be like, why the fuck is Wonder Woman in the fucking chat? I don't trust you. Hey, Sandor. Yeah, Sandor's the man. So here, I do have some other videos that we could watch in the meantime to kind of bide our time to see if Wiggy is going to hop back in here. I know he said he's going to check in, so I'm sure he will. So I think this would be a good one. So this is, which this would also be a great one for Wiggy being from Texas, and he's probably our biggest immigrant hawk. You know, he's the one that calls it the fucking Great Wave. So you know how he's feeling about it. But this video right here is actually immigrants, and they are rating these kind of like questions. This is Jubilee, so basically a fucking platform based around like sociology, and they want to see how people view these kind of social groups and how they break down. So if I'm remembering right, and we'll get into the video, I'm sure they'll clarify, but I think this is all people who are immigrants, and they're going to kind of like rate these views or stereotypes or whatever surrounding immigrants, and we'll see what comes of it. I'll see through the Gal Gadot. Yeah, if I'm being honest, I would still obviously do it. I wasn't saying I wouldn't do it. You know, I would just know that I was fucked. I would know that there was a fucking poison pill in her. You know, let's go ahead and get back into the video. I don't want to scare Shyla. We don't want to get too graphic on the first episode.
I feel like an outsider.
I moved to the United States when I was 13, and I've always felt like, because my background is so profoundly distinct, I moved from Lebanon. Because I moved during my preteens, it felt very hard to find someone who sees things like I do, like the same perspective. I got bullied my second week here in school, and perhaps like maybe that person's intention weren't as harmful as I thought. Maybe they were trying to be silly with their friends, now that I think about it. But I do think to a certain extent that did traumatize me in my educational journey and my school journey and making friends, which is why I kind of became very quiet. I became very self-reserved because I just did not want to interact with people in fear that I would get retaliated against for who I simply was. And that took a lot of years to just accept who I am. And that took almost 5 years. I didn't make friends until I was in college. By the time I accepted who I was and accepted that, hey, regardless if you're quirky or if you're weird or how you're perceived, it's a beautiful thing because your background is different, and a lot of people don't understand that.
I'm from Middle East too. I was born and raised in Iran and came here a month before my 18th birthday.
Shit.
But the reason why I disagree and not
watch out for him.
I strongly disagree with this prompt is because in the United States, I feel completely belong to this place. But, you know, the prompt says no matter wherever I go. And I believe, you know, there are places in the world you can go where you feel like an outsider. But in the United States, because of how much of a great country it is and how diverse it is, you know, it's very hard to feel like an outsider.
I think I somewhat disagree as well, because even though culturally we can be different, but we can still feel like we belong in this country, whether it's America or any other country. I came from Indonesia originally, and when I first came here, I feel like I'm a bit of an outsider, but I take the time to actually learn of how people do things around here. Just kind of like how if a lot of people were to come to Indonesia, they would need to learn the culture and assimilate themselves. So I somewhat disagree that I don't feel like I'm an outsider. I could feel a little bit different at times just because of like just things that I like and interests and just what we came from. I think everybody here is very different, but ultimately speaking, you can still feel belonging to somewhere, but you're just not an outsider on that side. So when I first came to the United States, I felt like there's a lot of new changes happening. And when there's so many new changes, I felt like I need to adapt to be able to just fit it. And one of those things would be the language. I had a heavy accent, didn't know a lot of words. I still sometimes like question like some words that I didn't know in my vocabulary, but at the time I felt very, very just, man, why do people don't understand me? But nowadays, what I take away from that experience, like, okay, it's not that they don't understand who I am. I'm just not able to communicate enough to those people. So I need to be better. I need to take accountability of learning how to communicate better with those people.
I'm at strongly agree because I have 2 masters, first generation college student. I'm Filipino.
So here, before we get too much deeper into this, Shyla says, why do the Democrats want us addicted to victimhood? It's like a pity party competition in America right now, but none of us want solutions, just to express our problems over and over again. I mean, so I agree with this generally, that a lot of people do have this kind of like mindset, and it is, sometimes it feels good to complain, even though there's not any solutions coming from that. So I think people fall into kind of the cathartic nature of just like venting and just saying whatever they think is fucked, and then not actually putting in the work to fixing the solution that we're talking about. So I mean, like specifically with this, if you're mentioning that because of the Democrats' kind of position on immigration recently, I would agree with you. I think that is actually a place where the Democrats are failing their ideas and their general ideology. Historically speaking, Democrats have been the not pro immigration, but as far as like pro borders, pro legal immigration party. And a lot of that comes from the tradition of advocating and supporting workers and workers' rights and things like that. And I do think that at some point it kind of became basically unempathetic to have a stance on immigration where you think that the laws should be enforced. And like, for example, like mass deportation, for example, like that's something that I've had some conversations with some people who are liberal. I would consider myself liberal. And I've had some disagreements there, and I think that it is a bit of a shame because I think it gets away from the identity of what that ideology is supposed to be advocating for to begin with, which is, you know, things like workers' rights. Just to express the problems. I realize we have all been suffering. I was here too. No, 100%, definitely. And I think that there's a lot of valid suffering, but I mean, even with these people though, like I don't know where the questions are going to end up going with this, but this first question, I feel like it's kind of split. I think you have a lot of people who are approaching it with a more optimistic mindset. You had the one guy's like, how the fuck could you even feel like an outsider in America? Like, you know, plenty of reasons.
And when I walk into the room, people make tons of assumptions about me. For many years, I felt like a second-class citizen because that's how I was being treated. My mom used to go to Hollywood Park, Santa Anita Park. She loved to gamble, and that's where she would get some of my clothes and like my lunch bag. And I would be like in old Beverly Hills where everyone was so rich. And I remember this critical moment where I walked into the elementary school and it was like the parting of the sea. Everyone was just like, what is she wearing? Because my mom, single parent, 5 kids, she was just trying to make it work. Right? So there's still that feeling of like trying to hide poverty or trying to hide the immigrant experience. And now it's more like, no, there's like that ingenuity and creativity and resourcefulness and resilience that was actually more representative of that moment, that my mom was like, I'm going to put her lunch in a lunchbox and she is going to go to school with a raincoat and I'm gonna get it for free. As a small kid, you get this messaging that you're not good enough or there's something wrong with you. So that's why I'm in education. That's why I'm in elementary schools, because I really want to advocate for the children and give them the language that you're beautiful, you're wonderful, and keep shining bright. And your culture that you have at home, bring it with you.
I belong to like 8 different intersections. I'm a woman, I'm queer, I'm Indian, I'm British, I'm an immigrant, I'm college educated, I'm a business owner. I belong to a lot of
reasons to hate this lady.
Different intersections. So because of that, I relate to so many different groups of people. There is like a deep little bit of feeling like an outsider, but I also feel very much so an insider because I understand so many groups of people.
The reason why I strongly disagree is that as much as I fit into those spaces, the way that I'm treated by other people is still as an outsider because I'm Kenyan, so yeah, in some spaces I'm black, but even in the spaces where there's black people, I'm African. And then when I go to African spaces, most Africans here are from West Africa, so I'm not West African. And so in those spaces, I'm Kenyan. So just feel
Cunts.
Are you cooking? Not yet. Kenny's been awake for a while. Pretty much since I got back. But why? There's nothing even controversial.
Yeah.
Yeah, like why? What do you have?